and sharing your insights, asking your questions. If you have any doubts in mind, please don't be afraid. None of the mods bite. I can vouch for all of them. And thank you so much for joining us. Without further ado, back to you, Jihan. So sorry I had to cut you.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me on stage and having this space. I guess my biggest question. A little background. I currently work um, in camera rental and sales and I'm a rental agent. Basically, I do project management for rentals of camera equipment, so for TV shows and films, as well as commercials. What I really want to do is I want to pivot into doing um, what I have my master's degree in, which is international relations, and I don't know really how to do make that pivot to transition and how to set up my LinkedIn to like make that pivot.
I'm sorry, could you just repeat your question? I think we had some disturbance in between, and I'm so sorry about that. Everyone, if you come up on stage, please do mute your mic so that the speaker who's talking does not get disturbed.
Oh, no worries. So I would like, so I have right now I work in camera rentals and sales. I'm a rental manager, which I do project management for camera rentals in for television commercials and films. But I really want to pivot into using my master's degree. I have a international relations master's degree, and I just want to see how I can pivot to do use that. I'm also hoping to go back to school. So it's multi-layered because I want to go back to school for visual anthropology so that I can get my PhD. So I'm trying to figure out how do I weave that, like change trajectory in my career at this point.
All right. Would any of the mods like to take that question up? Go ahead, Christy.
Yeah, so thank you so much for coming today. I will first admit that I don't know enough about the international relations or visual anthropology. However, and I'm hoping that someone else might, so we can make sure that you get fully helped. But I will say, as far as the LinkedIn piece and maybe networking into that, so one of the most important things you can do is to make sure that you've got a complete LinkedIn profile that talks a little bit about not just what you do now. So since you're currently in that role, um, so while you're figuring out how to make the pivot so you can continue to be a thought leader in that space, but then also add things about the international relations. And even if you wanted to, I know that you haven't studied it yet, but if you want to just go ahead and start doing some thought leadership on the visual anthropology, you could do that in your activity section. So what I would say for you, just to get started, is to, like, right now your profile picture, I can't see it on mine, so there's probably a setting on there where it's only visible to first connection, so it's not open to the public. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and open that profile to the public. Go ahead and talk a little bit about, you've got so many more characters that you can use in your about section. So adding some more information and bullet points about just thought leadership around the international relations in case there's recruiters looking that can find you by through keywords, if that makes sense. And then also starting to connect with more people. So for instance, today is a perfect example. You're in a clubhouse room on LinkedIn. You've done a phenomenal job of being first on the stage to speak. So I'm hoping that everyone in the room right now is taking a look at your profile and hopefully go into your LinkedIn page. And if there's any way that they have connections to anything that you talked about, that they'll connect with you on LinkedIn. So this is a call to action for anyone else that's listening, and also a call to action for you all to put LinkedIn, your URL on your profile. But I would say for you, go ahead and connect with the people in this room. If you wanted, you could take a screenshot of this, of the your phone right now, and start to put some activity on your LinkedIn page by posting this, tagging some of the people in it, putting some top tips, and then by doing that, we'll all start engaging with that post because you've tagged us. We're going to like it. We're going to comment on it. What that's going to do is that's going to open you up to our connections to be able to see your post not only with this room, I'm giving you this room as an example, but I would suggest going into other rooms on Clubhouse that are talking about international relations or that are talking about visual anthropology and then doing the same thing in there. That way you're sharing tips about the topics you're wanting to get into. And this will open you up to connections that actually have a network within those topics, within those industries that'll help you be more visible and network you into that field. Does that make sense? And then that way you'll be able to start making connections with people that can help you, not just guide you as maybe a mentor, but also potentially be someone that can hire you onto their organization. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's definitely helpful. Thank you so much.
No, Jihan, if I can quickly add to that, but Christy has very well summed up every possible thing. I'm not an expert in international relations, but I'll give you an example. I work with a lot of students, and Raghav can vouch for it. So many students now, especially in India and Middle East, are looking at IR as a primary domain. So my suggestion to them is, for instance, I'm not too sure where you're planning to apply to or which schools are you considering. So the best course of action becomes that you go out to, let's say, for example, the best ones for IR would be Sciences Po in Paris or London School of Economics or Harvard University or Columbia for that matter. You go and look up the alumni who are studying the programs you're looking at, have a chat with them, understand about the domain, look at the way the alumni have went from these universities, because that will set you on a better path. You can ask them questions, maybe ask for a referral from a or talk to a faculty that way. This is just in addition to what Christy has already pointed out as well. Sometimes if we are not in the right room, we can still figure out what are the right alternatives to that particular room, because there's always branches that Christy has mentioned about, but you will find, trust me, enough people in this room. As a matter of fact, for instance, Ritija and Robert, I know, are lawyers. They don't come from IR, but it's a related domain. So look at people who are even from allied domains as well, because they might be able to add some perspective.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. Simaprit, did you have something to say?
Yeah, yeah. So, Jihan, I think first of all, I just want to congratulate you for your phenomenal achievements and what you've done. I was just profile. Jihan, just a quick suggestion, right? I was reading your hobbies as fiction writing, podcasting, research, and filmmaking. I think in the part one also I shared with everyone, LinkedIn is not only about jobs or about posting, hiring. It is also about sharing thoughts and educating people. If you are passionate about, for example, fiction writing, podcasting, filmmaking, you can write a note about that. Right, write something on that because you're good at fiction writing. So many people would be interested to learn from that. So LinkedIn, as I said in the last session, it's basically the power of giving, right? So if you're good at something, not necessary that you have to only focus on that things, but share a story of you or a throwback picture of, for example, doing a podcast, right? Or some memory of a podcast, and share the learning out of that, because there are so many people that want to become a podcast host or want to learn about podcast, and in that way you will be able to add value to the people who want to learn about that. So I think, just apart from what I think what Abhishek and Christy was saying, get your profile picture in place, complete your profile, and also post things that you are passionate about that will add value to the people who are reading about that. And congratulations once again for a wonderful achievement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simaprit and Jihan. I hope all of those tips have helped you out, and we have been able to give you some tips on how you could go about.
Yes,
Radeja,
Mo.
could I just jump in with maybe just a couple of other very quick comments?
Of course, Robert.
I absolutely agree with everything that's been shared thus far, and I'm a big advocate of sharing your own content. Two other things I would suggest if you're looking to break into a new area is the 411 rule, which is meaning for every sort of one piece of your own self-serving content, it's also helpful if you're trying to break into another space to reshare other people's content, particularly influencers in that space, because that's a great way for you to get noticed into a new ecosystem. So if you are trying to particularly target, I'm not an expert in the field that you're looking to go for, but building on Christy's point, if you do that and find the relevant influencers and people doing and producing content, by sharing that and engaging in that content, that's going to help you get increased visibility into a new network. And I'd also look into suitable sort of societies or groups that you could maybe be a part of on the platform as well. So I hope that helped. Robin the Red, done speaking.
Thank you so much, Robert.
May I add something?
Of course, Gopal, you're like
Yeah.
one of the best LinkedIn experts here.
Okay, I'm not. Okay. I think that's a great tip from Robert. I completely agree. So resharing, but I would also, in addition, advise to add your own opinion on top of that instead of plainly, resharing. Like, here's what I think about this article or something that I'm sharing. And another great tip from Robert again, join groups or events related to your domain or something that would help. Yep, I'm done.
Thank you so much for all the mods. We do have a few new moderators who have joined us. So before we move on to our next speaker, Shajit Kumar, the stage is yours for introduction. So go ahead. Sajid, are you here? Okay. Natasha is passively listening, but if you want to give a quick introduction, please flash your mic. All right. Oh, we have Amin back here. Amin, welcome back, and please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, this is Amin. I am so happy to be here. I love this room that we had last week. And if you want to connect on LinkedIn regarding product management or product marketing, please do connect with me on LinkedIn. Anything professional, don't send it to Instagram because I barely open my Instagram DMs. So please connect on LinkedIn. And on my Instagram bio, you'll see a link with tons of resources that have to do with LinkedIn, interviewing, and also a database for those of you who are outside of the US, Canada, or the UK, and you're looking for which companies sponsor the salary ranges and things like that, just check out my Instagram bio link. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amin. And with that, we'll move on to our last moderator. Temi, welcome back, and it's so good to see you here.
Yeah, thank you so much for the room. My name is Temi. I'm an IT job trainer for a long time now, for over 2 decades, and I'm interested to help more people, mentor them into tech. I've mentored over 1,000 plus engineers. So thank you for having me. If you're looking to break into tech, I have run rooms every day on Clubhouse. You can follow my room, Tech and Powerhouse, or look under my bio for free resources. Thank you, and I'm done speaking. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Temi. Before we move on to our next moderators, let's move on to one speaker. Thank you for joining in, Emmanuel. The stage is yours for any questions that you might have for this amazing panel up here today.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I can see a few friends. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Amin. And it's awesome. Okay. I ran a poll 2 weeks ago about who has gotten a job on LinkedIn via content, because the traditional way of getting a job is easy apply, just apply through LinkedIn, and then we are seeing few visibility and few results of that. And it's so amazing to note that over 30% people have gotten a job or knew someone who has gotten a job through LinkedIn. So I will love the mod and others to talk about, okay, how to speak on your professionalism on LinkedIn, your experience as a means to getting a job. Yeah, and it's really great one down here.
Would any of the mods like to comment on what Emmanuel has just said?
I just have one comment on the LinkedIn Easy Apply. So, what I've heard is that it's not actually great for recruiters, but recruiters, please correct me if I'm wrong. But Easy Apply just gives them access to your photograph, your current work experience, and your About section. That's it. That's all recruiters get sent. So, in many ways, it does not replace a resume, it just acts as a stage gate or as a filter for then
Can
recruiters to reach out to you. But Would love if any of the recruiters could add specifically about Easy Apply and LinkedIn.
Can
Um,
I add to that? It's Ish speaking at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see me. I'm in the
sure,
black and white.
sure, Ish, we can see
I
you.
was actually going to say, so I myself work in HR and I used to work in recruitment in the UK. Now, as a candidate, I'm very big on LinkedIn, by the way. It is a powerful tool, by the way, guys. So make sure you are active on LinkedIn. That's one piece of advice I would give everyone. Now, as far as with Easy Apply is concerned on LinkedIn, it does give me the option to attach a CV. Every time when I apply on LinkedIn via Easy Apply, it does give me the option to upload a CV. Now, I have been contacted by recruiters, and they do have a copy of my CV, and that's just something I wanted to add.
Interesting. Absolutely, yes. So you definitely have to supplement it with your resume. Just the Easy Apply would probably not be fully sufficient.
So regarding this is regarding Emmanuel's question about how to use the content to get reached out to. So what I've noticed that really helps some people, there was a young lady in Nigeria who wanted to work for Spotify. And what she did is, I don't remember the exact feature of their product that she wanted to improve upon, but she noticed that a feature was suboptimal to customers. And what she did is she created her own project around it to kind of impress them and show them that if she did work there, she could add immediate value. So she kept posting the content on LinkedIn and she tagged them. And then someone at the company, not a recruiter, reached out to her. And then they had an interview. And she actually bombed the interview because she wasn't prepared for this kind of formal, global style interviews that she didn't experience in Nigeria. So she bombed the interview, but she knew exactly what she was doing. They still hired her and they sponsored her to work for them in Sweden. So I want to say that even though some of you may not be really skilled at interviewing, if you're trying to use content to attract a company, go on their websites, look at their apps, look at their products, see where there's a gap maybe with efficiency or maybe something you think can help them save money, but most importantly something that can help their user base because they're a business and they want to help the users. So if there's something that you have an idea on and that you can actually work on your own without them approaching you, do that and try to get their attention that way. If you don't want to post it publicly, you can also do it and then reach out to people who actually work in the company. So how do you find people that work at the company? You go in the LinkedIn search box, and instead of filtering for company, you can filter for people that work at that company, or you can filter for you can do hashtag hiring, then the specific role that you're interested in. But that's a great point that you made, Emmanuel. And yes, you can use content to get hired, even if you're not that good. The situation with her where she wasn't good at the interview is an anomaly, but you can still make sure that you highlight what you can do to actually solve a problem with them. And I think it's a great way to get their attention.
Wow, I'm so excited, and I mean, you just killed it there, and thank you so much.
Really did.
We just love your energy, Manuel. That was brilliant. I hope we were able to help you. Back to you,
Sure, sure.
Ritha.
Okay, I think Ritija is just going to be back in a minute. What I'm going to do is quickly do a quick little reset since. Okay, I'm just going to ask Saeed to mute himself as well. Just a basic courtesy, everybody. If you're just joining the stage, please mute yourself. That would be great. And just a quick little reset. We're hosting this room under Legal Scholars Mentored. It's a club that Ritija has founded and formed. You can see the logo and the greenhouse on top of Abhishek and Riteja's profile picture. We are talking about LinkedIn tips and networking as the name suggests. And this is part two because we had such an
Syed is
Shahid, you wait for
obviously,
it.
yeah, Syed was disrupted
I've
twice
thrown him
now.
out. Don't worry,
Sorry,
thrown him out.
everybody.
Thank you, Abhishek. And well, that's it. I think that's just part of the parcel on Clubhouse. No worries at all. But yes, this is part two, just for your reference. We had an amazing, overwhelming room last week, and this is just a continuation to that. And with that, we have a few new mods who've just joined us as well, and I would love to hear from them too. So I would move over to Temi, who's just joined us as well. Temi, if you're here with us, I would love to hear from you as well.
Yeah, I already introduced myself.
Raghavitz Joseph, I think.
Sorry, my PTR might be stuck then.
Sorry, Joseph, over to you.
No problem. This is Joseph speaking. I'm in the middle with a gold circle around me. I'm a Silicon Valley tech recruiter and career coach. I worked for LinkedIn and Yahoo and a couple of different startups as well. Right now, I work for former Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer at her current startup. If you are interested in startups, engineering, tech, more than happy to be here. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Joseph, for joining us. And give me 1 minute. I'm just going to do a quick little PTR. And I think we have Todd next. Thank you so much for joining us, Todd. Over to you.
Thanks, Raghav. Hi, everybody. My name is Todd McLeese, based in the United States, and I work primarily with institutions of higher education, colleges, and universities on projects and programs related to the future of work and essentially aligning both credit-based or degree-based and non-credit-based programs. I curate the subject matter experts. If you are a subject matter expert and you have got workshops that you think could be delivered through higher ed to employers or companies in the region, happy to have you reach out to me and we can talk about leveraging higher ed's need for more current programming. But I work with those institutions and employers in their respective regions to create alignment over what the companies need and what the colleges can deliver. So I'll leave it there. Happy to be here. Been on LinkedIn a long time, and it's maybe before Clubhouse, my primary networking tool. So happy to be here and listen and learn and chime in when I can. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that, Todd, and it's so nice to have you here as well. Before we move on to our next moderator, I just wanted to quickly circle back and see if we have Ria and Sajid here with us. Hi, Ria, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Thanks, Riteja. So sorry, had the call, so had to hop off, but I'm back. Hi everyone, I'm Ria. I'm a brand and strategic consultant. I've also founded a marketing and a consultancy agency, which is called the Brand Cappuccino. By profession, I was an ex-investment banker and I am a core finance person. And I've also co-founded an NGO on the side. You'll find a lot of it on my bio. Here to learn from all the experts that we have around us in the room. And just wanted to give a quick shout out. Ritija does a great job. LinkedIn part one was so good, so I couldn't miss out on this. And you guys should follow her and follow the club because these rooms are super productive, and you guys are in it for some great stuff. So just looking forward to this. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for that quick shout out. And it would be injustice if I don't say that you conduct amazing rooms on the Speed Networking India. Guys, she's really helped out a lot of people get jobs in India. So kudos to that. And thank you so much, Ria, for being here. With that, we're going to quickly move on to Monica. Hi, Monica. It's so nice to see you here.
Thank you so much, Riteja. I'm Monica Jasuja. I'm a fintech and payments professional, and I lead a product management team, creating the next set of digital financial solutions. So I've been on LinkedIn for quite a long time, but I started reusing it again last year, and I must admit that some of the tricks that I found have actually come because of my use on Clubhouse rather than using LinkedIn actively. And I'm happy to share those whatever I've learned through some of these rooms. I did miss LinkedIn part one, so I'm here more as a listener than as a moderator, but happy to share whatever little I know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. I'm sure you have some amazing tips up your sleeve as well. With that, we're going to quickly move on to one speaker because we have a lot of speakers who've been waiting patiently for a long time now. With that, Vishnu, the stage is yours for any questions that you might have.
Hey, hi, hello everyone. So my name is Vishnu Priya. I just graduated with my master's in aerospace engineering from Florida with structure and materialist concentrations. So I have a keen interest in product design designing an analysis of mechanical and aerospace structures and have done quite a few projects on that. So, a couple of days back, I attended a LinkedIn masterclass organized by Christian, and it was really helpful to work on my LinkedIn profile. So, I wanted to attend this room to gain more information on how to enhance my profile as well as network with engineering people like me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vishnu. If you have any specific questions, the moderators would be happy to take it up, and
Yeah.
absolutely agree. Christian's LinkedIn masterclass is absolutely amazing. It's done under Data Science and Analytics Club. Mondays, 8 or 9 p.m. EST. I think that Christian decides when, according to his availability. So do check that out as well. Vishnu, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I had a few questions on my LinkedIn, and Vivek actually helped me in those. So I would like to ask him to elaborate on those few points from my LinkedIn profile, actually.
All right.
So
Vivek,
hey,
go ahead.
this is Vivek. I was actually taking a look at Vishnu Priya's profile, and then I just sent her a message with my notes because I wasn't sure if I'll get a chance to speak. Let me just touch
Yeah,
upon a
thank you
few of
so
those.
much for that, Vivek.
No worries at all. A few quick things. Number one is just be a little mindful of what your profile name is, the username. Numbers are okay, but generally try to avoid putting your year of birth or something like that, which is usually it just adds to the age thing. It may not matter now, but eventually, much later in your career, it might actually become an issue. So do that. See if you can, transition to a profile name without the number in it. The second one, as such, is like in terms of the title that you've put in there, you've got a bunch of different titles. Just make sure that you have spaces between the punctuations, because if you don't put a space between the slash and the mechanical, sometimes when they search, it may or may not show up. And just one more thing to touch up is actually that on LinkedIn, you do have people who also viewed this profile. That's essentially your competitors, and you don't want them to show up. So just find how to turn that section off. It's actually a setting in your profile, so you can do that. And this is Vivek, and I'm done speaking.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the information. I'll go ahead and fix those in my profile, actually.
Just one other tip, Vishnupriya. I was also
Yeah,
checking out your profile. I
okay,
think really bulk up your skills and endorsement section. A
okay,
great way to do that is actually by following up with people that you meet here on Clubhouse. If you
okay,
meet, say, 10 of us here on Clubhouse, add them on your LinkedIn, start building your network, even at the workplace, even from university, build your network and endorse each other, get endorsements and get a few recommendations from past employers, from internships, from professors. It's a really great way to showcase demonstrable skills and impact. So, also take this opportunity to network with people and
okay.
get those endorsements and recommendations that you're looking for. And I know Amin stresses about this a lot. So, Amin, if you wanted to add anything on how best people can, give out endorsements, please do that.
Sure, Vanchika. So the first thing is to understand why you're doing this, just so that you move with intention. So the reason why endorsements matter on LinkedIn is LinkedIn is like a Google search. It's a SEO optimized part of LinkedIn. So all the keywords on your profile, everything that you're listing as skills, are what is helping recruiters, customers, or investors look you up, depending on what you're on the platform for. So if I put product marketing as one of my top three skills, the more endorsements I have, the more recommendations I have, the more times I write product marketing on my profile, the higher I'm going to rank. So just like when you do a Google search, you want to be on page one if you're a business, not on page 10. So if you're on page one, more customers will find you. So just look at your profile like that. So the more people endorse you, let's say right now Vivek is at Facebook. He's an engineering leader. Can someone mute themselves? Sorry. He's an engineering leader at Facebook. But if he has 100+ endorsements for engineering or mentoring or anything in that space, product management, or software development, he's going to rank higher as an industry leader, not just his title, but on top of that, the endorsements. So when you go on and connect with people from Clubhouse, make sure that you don't send an empty message that just hits the connection button. Make sure you say, Hey, Vivek, I met you at the LinkedIn Tips and Networking Room under Legal Solars. I really loved what you shared about software development, and I know you have a mentorship program that you partake in and you help others, and you have a Discord group. I'd love to join, and I'd love to also endorse you for public speaking, mentoring, and engineering knowledge because of what you shared in the room. He's likely going to accept your connection request over someone else's because you were specific, and you're also giving the speakers value back by endorsing them. And the likelihood of you building a relationship after that, not just an empty connection, is higher. And then also, as he gets to know you, doing whatever he's sharing in his Discord group, he can possibly endorse you as well. And then you go ahead and do the same thing this week for people that work with you, people you went to school with, your professors, whatever it is. I just challenge everyone to do it with at least 5 to 10 people every day for the next 7 days, and you'll see that your endorsements have been beefed up. And now you know why you're doing it, not just as to just doing it in an empty manner. You know exactly why you're doing it, how it's going to help you grow, and it's also going to help the people that you're endorsing grow. So it's a win-win for both sides. Thank you.
I mean,
Thank
I actually must say that I followed this challenge from our last room and it's been absolutely amazing. I've loved it, and for everyone listening in, do exactly what she said. Every day, sit down, endorse 5 people. It boosts up your profile like anything, and the kind of connections that you make as well sort of is amazing because a lot of times you're connected to that person, but you've just never really gone forward and spoken to them. So this is an amazing way to sort of restart that connection. So thank you so much for that, Amin, and I think I'm going to continue that challenge this week as well.
Yes, it's an amazing challenge and it just takes a few minutes. It just takes a few minutes. It really does.
That's right, Keisha.
Can I chime in for a bit?
Yeah,
Uh,
can I?
Vish,
Yeah, yeah.
Vishnu, your profile is really great, and I really like the headline. I really think just one thing, which is that in your sections about what you're doing right now, you
Mm-hmm.
may want to add some featured links. You may want to add some posts about what work you're doing there.
Okay.
Specifically, add some highlights in a few sentences about the kind of work that you're doing and what you're engaged with at the university. Because as a teaching assistant as well, I'm sure that you are working under a professor or working in a department that might be of good use, and it will
Mm-hmm.
come up in the search results. And second is that I'm also seeing that you're getting active, so you're obviously posting a few things, which is very good. But try posting also about the professional work that you're doing. It could be about a teach about what you're doing at work, which is essentially teaching and learning, of course, at the same time, but your thoughts and views on a subject or something about the industry, which kind of adds weight and support to your profile, and helps build, because the more you post, the more you will gain in terms of followers being able to know what you are all about, and then also to be able to identify you as a thought leader or a domain expert in what you're doing. So some parts of those in the profile will automatically keep getting updated in the featured sections when you add something which has become very popular, becomes viral, for example, and then also in the specific parts of your profile which right now look a little empty.
Okay, ma'am. I'm actually really grateful and thankful to all of you because I quickly made notes of whatever Vanshika, Amin, and Vivek and Monica told me. Now I'm definitely going to fix my LinkedIn profile, and great work, guys. Keep it going. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Ritija, can I
so much.
add one point to Vishnu?
Of course, Simapit, go ahead.
Okay, so Vishnu, I think thank you for noting down those points. It's very thoughtful of you. You know, I'll just share something. I think many engineers or many science lovers here. I linked the concept of LinkedIn to science. And science may there is a law by Isaac Newton. There is that's known as Newton's third law, and LinkedIn basically works on Newton's third law. That means that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and that's what Amin said, right? When we actually sit down and actually recommend someone or endorse someone, right? It is going to come back to us. And for the last, I've grown my LinkedIn organically since last 4 5 years. And Vishnu, only thing that has worked for me
Mhm.
is power of giving back, right? I keep telling everybody. I was just reading your profile, right? You are so talented. I was reading that you have experience in design techniques, root cause analysis, hands-on experience in AutoCAD, SolidWorks. My only thing is, a lot of people message me, Vishnu, that what to post, sir. What is the kind of content we post? Only recommendation, Vishnu, is that whatever you've learned, right?
Okay.
For example, you are good at expertise in design, build, test, and evaluation approaches, right? Write that
Okay.
down. Write that down on your post. So many people who are curious about that. You are adding value to this universe. And LinkedIn is just about writing the thing that you're good at, and then just
Mhm.
waiting for the universe to react. So do not post. A lot of people would cut and copy post kind of things, and which does not make it very organic, or it does not make it real. So post your strengths, right? If you're good at CATIA, if you're good at AutoCAD, write
Mhm.
the 5 steps, right? How to upskill AutoCAD, right? And there are
Okay.
so many millions of people that are going to be interested, and as a result you will grow your network. The fundamental is
Okay.
power of giving. Jitna, the Newton third law works on LinkedIn, and I think,
Mm-hmm.
Riteja,
It's
it's going to
basically
be
like sharing.
absolutely, you are going to share the content, right? And a lot of people
Okay.
get confused that what kind of content we should post, and I keep telling them that the post real content and the content that you're confident about. Today, make it a challenge that if you're good at AutoCAD, tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
morning put out a post on AutoCAD, right? 5 tips to increase AutoCAD. Just imagine the kind of value that you're adding to this universe. I am definitely going to like it. I'm definitely going to like it and share it. And that is how you grow your network, by sharing, by
Okay.
helping, by giving to this universe. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey,
Use your
Greta.
voice. I will just add to that. Use your voice, your authentic voice, and flex your muscles. People are waiting to hear your voice that are connected to you. It's all about flexing and showing who you are. And I say this all the time, don't cap, meaning don't make up things, don't fake on the app, but make sure that you're
Okay.
using your voice. Flex your skills. We're waiting to hear from you in your authentic voice, and then tag some people too. Tag some
Okay.
people and we can help amplify that. I wouldn't mind you tagging me, and I'm sure others wouldn't mind as well. Tag
Okay.
people to help us or to help you amplify your posts and do it consistently. Consistency is the key. This is Keisha, and I'll pause my mic.
Hey, I mean,
May I
real
jump
quick,
in?
just a quick question. Have we talked about the statistics to help amplify the point that y'all are making? Has anybody brought up the content statistics? Because I'd like to, if we haven't.
Not yet. Please,
Not
please
yet.
go
Go
for
ahead.
it.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to kind of talk about the statistics to prove everybody's point here. So there's 750 million people, and this is Dan, by the way. There's 750 million plus people on LinkedIn. Of that, 1.7%, I'm going to repeat, 1.7% are content, are original content creators. Original content basically means that you're putting out something that's your original thoughts. It may be somebody else's post that you're repurposing and adding your opinion to, but it has something to do with amplifying your voice. The reason that we talk about this is because if you take that 750 million and then you break that down into 1.7, and then you take the fact that you then have to break that down by how many people in your field are actually posting original content. What this does is this means that even if you're brand new to the field, once you break it down, you're one of the very few that's going to be posting about what you do. And that will instantly make you an expert within the category. So don't under don't assume that just because of how large the platform is that your voice isn't going to carry. The reality is just by being brave and putting out content, you're going to become one of a very small selection of people that is doing it, and that's going to grow your brand and your influence just by posting. My name's Dan. I'm done.
Thank you so much for that, Dan. And with that, Vishnu, we hope that you've received some amazing tips from this
E-
panel here today.
Yeah, definitely. I learned a lot of ideas and new things which I'm going to implement. And again, thank you all. Thank you for taking the time to explain to me patiently. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Vishnu. And we have a lot of new mods and speakers as well. So just a quick announcement. For now, we're switching off the hand raising. When we do open it, we will invite a few more people on stage, but a request to all mods that only Abhishek, Raghav, Tanya, and I do that so that it's easier for us to follow who all are coming on stage, and we can read their bios as well so that we don't get any disturbances on stage. And a quick reset for the room. Hi, everyone. This is Legal Scholars Mentored Club. We're doing LinkedIn tips and networking part two because of the amazing response that we received in part one. And that was all because of all the listeners who had joined in and all of these amazing mods who have taken time out on a Saturday to join in and provide tips to all of you. And I've honestly learned a lot more. I don't know what I'm doing modding this room. I should be taking down notes like everyone else. So
Too kind, Ritija.
so thank
I
you
think
so
I
much
should be
for
taking
being
notes
here.
even.
I was
I
saying the
am
same thing.
taking
I learn
notes.
so much every single time.
Everybody, Gopal is literally taking notes. He's gonna go back to the product teams.
Yes.
He's going to go back and say, hey, you know what, there are some amazing LinkedIn tips and I think we should add this feature, and we're going to have some amazing features on our profile as beta testers, guys.
Yes.
With that, we're going to quickly move on to one more speaker and then get back to moderators. Divya, you're up. Do you have any questions for this amazing model panel over here?
Hello, Ridhija. First of all, thank you so much for creating such informative rooms. I mean, the amount of help you're doing to all of us, to yourself, and to everybody is incredible. Coming to the question, firstly, for me, I am an image consultant, corporate trainer, and a soft skills trainer. So, 80 to 90% of my business comes from LinkedIn. And when I say that, I literally have half page full with the kind of inputs you have already given. Now I have one question. So last week I received this option of creating converting my profile into creators mode, and I did that, but I haven't researched about it yet. So if anybody of you have some inputs on how a creators profile work on LinkedIn and what all benefits does it give to you, would be really helpful. Thank you.
Robert, would you like to take that question? Because I know you've had the creator mode on and we discussed about it. So if you're here, would you like to go ahead?
Thank you, Radeja. Yes, so I've been using Creator Mode now for a couple of months, and the real, I guess, skill with Creator Mode is it allows you to have up to 5 hashtags. So for myself, I own a legal recruitment firm and also have a legal podcast. So the hashtags that I use are lawyers, podcasts, recruitment, legal careers, and entrepreneurship. So, whenever I am producing my content, I'm continuously trying to link it back to those hashtags. So, then more and more people are going to be able to view who are in that ecosystem my content. So, it's super powerful and rewards you for being consistent and putting content connected to the hashtags that you want to be known for in terms of your content creation. So I would strongly advise giving it a go and just make sure that the 5 hashtags you choose, I believe at the moment you are only limited to 5, are most relevant to what you want to be known for in terms of your circle of influence and audience you are trying to attract and network with. So I hope that helps.
I'd love to chime in there too.
Thank you so much, Robert. So yes, when I got the option, I put on 5 random sort of hashtags which were connected with my work profile. But now I'll go back and do a little study and find some more relevant hashtags there. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. And Vanshika, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to add another cool thing that it does is it actually takes your activity and your featured section and brings it to the top of your profile. So even before individuals can look at sort of what you are about, the first thing they see are your featured posts. So it's really about showcasing your work. I think that's what creator mode is all about, where They just want to spotlight the topics that you talk about and the content that you've already created. And I actually had a follow-up question to Robert, if that's okay, which is how specific slash broad should your hashtags be? For example, I have sort of just gone very broad based with my hashtags. Hashtag consulting, hashtag careers. Those are my hashtags as part of creator mode. But you said you have specific sort of more personally branded hashtags. So if anybody wanted to add on that distinction, that would be interesting.
So this is. Oh, sorry, Monica. Please, you go.
I just wanted to say, since the room is large and people who might be listening might get confused, right before we speak, we should just say, "This is Monica, this is Amin," so that they can kind of gauge who's talking, because it's kind of hard to see.
Great point, and I just wanted to add as well. This is Keisha. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Monica, were you going to say something? I can go after you.
Kisha, I'll go after you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was just going to say, when you think about the hashtags, I would say be very, very, very specific on the hashtags that are related to you. So I'm a podcaster. I wrote a book on networking, and then I'm in the space of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I'm so specific on those hashtags. And I've noticed I've only been using creator mode for a couple weeks. And I'm telling you, the level of engagement has been through the roof, the level of connectivity. People are asking questions. And I just posted a poll the other day to kind of get a feel for using the poll. But I would absolutely say make sure that your hashtags are specifically related to who you want to be found under. Because now I'm noticing that because these are the hashtags that I use, people are connecting to me specifically for these things that I've hashtagged. So absolutely make sure that they're specific to how you want to be found in the system. This is Keisha, and I'll pause my mic.
Hi, this is Monica. I just wanted to say that I think the broader the hashtags are, the more difficult it will be for people to be able to follow you for the kind of content that you're bringing in. So, therefore, hashtags that are really relevant, exactly to Keisha's point, make a lot of sense. The second part of this is that in search as well as in being able to rank your posted content on top, it's important that you consistently use the same hashtags. It's also easier for the LinkedIn content team to actually pick up the same kind of content if you're producing it over and over again, because the algorithm actually favors people who post consistently and who post about similar topics, and that's how you get featured in the stories. So again, to Kisha's point, it's important that the engagement part is managed through these hashtags, and then of course if you keep posting consistently, then you are going to come into the spotlight, because essentially you are adding to the hashtags that are followed by the large ecosystem of people, and it appears on the left hand side of your profile.
All right. Okay. Simmerpreet, go ahead.
Y- y-
You had.
Yeah, just 1 second. Divya, you have a wonderful profile. I've gone through that, and I think you have absolutely wonderful hashtags that you have posted. And I agree with Kesha. I think I've been using the creator mode since almost a month now, and it's just crazy. The level of engagement has really increased. And I was going through your profile. You're just doing a fabulous job, Divya. And just kudos to you, and keep up the wonderful work. I agree with Monica. If you can just do a little more search and put more specific hashtags, that would be great. But wonderful profile. God bless you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Simarpreet, and to all the experts. I have a quick follow-up question, Ridija, if I can.
Divya, if you could reach out to those mods separately, then that
All
would
right,
be
it's
great
sort of a
because we
very
do have a lot
general
of
question, but
search.
all right, I'll connect with them personally.
Yeah, we can circle back to you. Stay on the stage. We can circle back to you once we're done with our
No
speakers up here.
problem.
Is that okay?
Yeah, no problem. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you so much. With that, we're going to introduce
Hey,
again few of our
Horatio,
mods.
really
Hi, Dan. Yeah,
quickly,
go
I don't know,
ahead.
I don't know who was speaking before, but if you send me a message on LinkedIn, I will answer your question as we're talking.
Thanks, Dan. Divya, it was Divya. I'll connect with you.
Perfect.
All right, with that, we're going to move on to introducing few of our mods once again. Oh my god, sorry. Anna, the stage is yours for introduction. Are you here?
I think Anna just messaged me saying she's in a noisy place, but quick sort of
We can circle back to
15,
Anna then.
yeah, just quick
All right,
10
then.
seconds about Anna. She's a project manager, and you can check out her bio.
Thank you so much for that one, Shika. With that, we move on to Jared. It's so nice to see you again. Welcome back, and the stage is yours for introduction.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jared Albritton. Been in tech 15 years. Started my career off at IBM in 2006, and have worked for several, SaaS startups and different tech companies. One thing I'm really passionate about is connecting and preparing people to get into tech roles. As I've been on Clubhouse, so I run a lot of rooms with hiring managers and recruiters that come on stage, and you can shoot your shot. We've had at least 20 people get hired. I do LinkedIn masterclasses with my friend Christian and a bunch of other rooms with everybody on stage. One thing I'm really excited about is a workshop I'm doing at the end of the month, July 31st and August 1st. We're going to have a ton of companies, a ton of amazing career coaches, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, and less demand, and you'll have a better chance of potentially getting a call back because you're not competing against hundreds of people. But this is Jared. I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Jared. And love that tip. With that, we're going to move on to our next mod, Nishika. Welcome, and it's nice to see you in this room.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. Very, very quick. In commercial. So I've completed my LLB, my LLM, and my legal practice course.
Nishika, we're getting in and out on your intro.
Sorry, can you hear me?
We may have to circle back to you, Nishika, because there's a lot of problem with your mic. That's all right. We'll circle back to you. With that, we move on to Yan. Thank you so much for being here, and so happy to see you here.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's 2 a.m. in Hong Kong, but I am still awake. It's a pretty amazing room.
Wow.
I myself am taking down some notes from all of you guys. Love you all. I am founder of a medical AI startup, and prior to this, I spent 14 years on Wall Street. I was a derivatives trader working for Merrill Lynch and Goldman Sachs. I have been involved in extensive activities related to hiring and different stages of one's career on Wall Street. I think it's probably not just about getting a job, but it's also about how you progress and how to use LinkedIn and other tools to get ahead. So I've done like campus recruitment, personal referrals, CV interviews, salary negotiations, and relocation packages, and many more. And until recently, obviously hiring for my own startup. I think I look at profiles from a slightly different angle because because basically we are the last round of people you need to get through before your dream job can be officially yours. And as a desk manager on Wall Street or a tech startup founder, sometimes what we prefer to see in a candidate can be slightly different to recruiters and HR. So we are kind of the wild card in the whole application process. I'm happy to answer your questions, and if you don't get a chance in the duration of this room, feel free to reach out to me. My DM is open on Instagram at the bottom of my bio. Thank you. My name is Yan. I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Yan. Do reach out to her if you're interested, and thank you so much for being here, even though it's 2 a.m.
That's crazy.
Need to drink more coffee. Thank you, though. Thank you, guys.
All right. With that, we're going to move to one speaker so that we can cover all our speakers up here today. Rakshit, the stage is yours for any questions that you might have for the amazing panel up here today.
Hello. Hi, Hrideja, and to all the moderators. This is such a productive and fruitful session that's going on. So, in my introduction, I'm Rakshit, and I'm the founder and CEO of Skyware. So, talking about my passion and my interest. So, I have been from a technology background, and what motivates me every day is connecting technology, innovation, and management together and coming up with beautiful products which can solve a lot of problems, right? So other than that, my specific questions are, I have a couple of them. Number one, I'm more interested to understand, as an early stage startup, how can we recruit good talent from LinkedIn? Like as I was listening through some other discussions that were going on, I could understand that take uh, recruiters do take these the endorsements that we have on profile. They do consider these things. So how can we actually get how can we shortlist, or how can we reach out to the potential candidates through these tools, and what tools are there for this? Number two, my question is more specific for the company profile page that we have on LinkedIn. How can we any tips if you can share on what to do to increase the reach, and how important it is to maintain a good company profile if we are dealing in the B2B sector? Thank you, and I'm done speaking.
Robert, I see you were flashing your mic. Go ahead, and maybe Yan could answer this question as well since she deals with startups. So Robert and then Yan.
Sure. I was just going to quickly comment on the LinkedIn company page. I think it's important to make sure you have a sort of compelling about us section, and make sure you include the relevant words connected to your business. So when people are searching you or particular candidates, that your company page is hopefully going to rank and become visible. And I would make sure all of the information is filled out thoroughly, and you could look to make sure you collect and give endorsements there. And I would also make sure eventually over time you create some showcase pages, and make sure the banner as well is attractive and has a good image, and all the relevant contact details that you could maybe put in there too. There's just a few things from a company LinkedIn page you could look at. Hope that helps. Done speaking.
Thank you so much.
Yan, if you'd like to go ahead and answer his question.
Yeah, I think for me, probably is also because of my own background. But for me, from your LinkedIn or from the candidates LinkedIn, I'm really looking at two things. One is the number of years of experience, and the other one is basically the specific skills that they have. So for me, the endorsement would come after these two, because I am looking for. So I think it really depends on the context of your company. But for me, I really need someone who can just come in and just get fully plugged in, and without that much training. So I think you won't be able to get an answer that is definitely right and perfect for your own context. You kind of need to sit down and really think about exactly what kind of
questions that you have. EORs always help, and as well as in your extra credit. So in order to stand out, just make sure that you're trying to have spikes in your CV in different sections, and that's something that helps when recruiters are shortlisting CVs from among other 80 students in an MBA college. So that is something that will definitely help you. I'm done
Yeah,
speaking.
thanks, Amit. I wanted to share something as well. This may not necessarily just apply to resumes and things like that, like Anna was getting at earlier. I think that in everything that you do as a person, always seek to know more. So don't just stay in the same level. Like, keep abreast with what's like the latest in that specific space. And this might apply to people just in the audience in general, right? Like, if there's any new library that comes out, be the first to take a look at it, test them out, right? And when you do, like, when you share that, put that experience in your resume as well. Because the fact of the matter is this, like, right, like when recruiters are looking for people to hire, right, they are setting tasks that they are looking to be able to accomplish. And what is nice is for them to be able to find someone who can actually accomplish that. So the more you stay abreast of the knowledge that is recent, the better you're able to stay competitive and stay ahead of the curve. I'm Yano, and I'm done speaking.
Also, I think Nikita is a recruiter at a FANG company. So, Nikita, what do you think? Nikita?
That the candidates have, I think that just populates the number of applicants in our in the the job section that we create for new jobs. So I just want to understand, is it like, is it a good thing for a recruiter, like they're getting so many applications? Like, can we have a better way? How can we filter them out of those so many applications? That I just wanted to get more understanding onto that.
Would any of the mods like to take that question up?
I'll take it. Could you rephrase it for me? I missed it. I was paying attention. I was splitting attention.
So what I think is the easy apply option that the applicants have, basically, when it becomes very easy for anyone to apply for a particular position, it becomes difficult for a recruiter to find out the better candidates. So how can we filter
Yeah.
out in the best way, and from a lot of applications, how can we select the best ones, and make sure that the potential candidates are not being missed out?
So first of all, the easy apply button is is akin to the Easter Bunny. It really doesn't necessarily exist in any meaningful way. Um, so I would avoid at all costs anybody using the easy apply. You may have a 1 out of 100 shot of getting looked at by doing it. The thing that all of us recruiters talk about as far as being the best way to
do that, or maybe like check your network.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, sure. Moving on, we have Suprabhata. Are you there?
Yeah, Nikita, I'm there. Thank you. First of all, thank you to Monkey Talks and FunPath for organizing all this. It's a very beautiful event, like trip tourism. Introducing myself, my name is Shubhabrata Hauladar. Currently, I'm pursuing MS in Business Analytics from CSU East Bay. I'm living in California. Prior to that, I was working in HSBC Mumbai as a business analytics for 4 years, and prior to that, I was in Deutsche Bank. Um, to switching from the financial sector to a tech sector, uh, what is the the template you are talking about, you and Puneet especially? Like, how can I associate with that fun path? And what is the template about?
networking and doing it the right way. Sending a message and just saying, "Hey," is not going to do anything. There's no one on this stage that's going to respond to, "Hey." But if you put a meaningful comment and values statement, then they're likely to respond and go through that way. So my name is Dan. Hopefully that provides you some insight, and that was not the easy button way of having this conversation.
Yeah,
And
thank you so much.
and this is Ramatu. I just wanted to add, you mentioned having a company business page and posting, posting on that. But when you're looking for job opportunities, people follow people. So I definitely want, especially that you're in the B2B space, be cognizant of creating, social posts that your employees can post, saying, hey, we're looking for people to join our team. That adds a more personal touch to it, and it increases visibility into their network, and they're probably qualified candidates that follow them. So I would say to, make sure that you're really pushing that employee like evangelism. And also, a lot of candidates, the bold ones, will comment on those posts. So you want your candidates or even yourself to be cognizant of who is liking those posts and who's engaging with those posts, because those are the candidates that have an application that's sitting in your portal and are not getting engagement, and that will never see the time of day as well. So I would definitely say, make sure that you are creating social posts that your employees can share, and also utilizing utilizing engagement on LinkedIn to find candidates as well. I'm Ramatu, one of the second to last mods, and I'm done speaking.
And this is Jared speaking. Really quick point. If you go to my Instagram, in my bio, there's a software called SyncUp AI. It has a bunch of templates for reaching out to hiring managers and recruiters, as well as for recruiters and hiring managers reaching out to candidates. And it's proven to be very effective. One of the biggest struggles I see is, messages that come into my inbox that just really don't land and don't give the best first impression. So it's a free resource. I would definitely take advantage of it and then customize it in your own language. But these templates will help you, especially culturally, if you are not used to talking to certain, hiring managers in different countries. It'll give you some of the right guidance to actually have that good first impression, stand out amongst the hundreds of messages that they get, and prompt a response, which is the reason why you're reaching out. So hopefully you guys find that helpful. Thanks.
Thank
Thank you so much, everyone, and thanks for answering all those questions. Really helpful.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for being here, Rakshit, and we're glad that all of these amazing mods could answer your questions. Just a quick reset once again, we're doing this room under Legal Solace mentored. It's the Green Monopoly House above mine and Abhishek's head. This is part two of LinkedIn tips and networking. Part one was a huge success thanks to all the listeners and the mods up here. So, with that, we're quickly going to move on to one of our moderators. Vipin, it's nice to see you here and thank you for being here. The stage is yours for introduction.
Absolutely, Riteja. I think Vanchika told me about this amazing room. So happy to be here. It's close to 12 in the night. I generally hit my bed at this time, but this conversation is just amazing, and I thought I should stick on. So guys, I'm Vipin Babarajan, and I am a growth marketer at Freshworks. Freshworks is the biggest B2B SaaS unicorn based out of India, and I handle the organic lead gen there. Uh, Purely for me, I think LinkedIn has been great. I'm not super active on LinkedIn, but I know that whenever I contribute meaningfully, whenever I write something super thoughtful, I know that there is an audience that's open to uh, to kind of receive it and then uh, address whatever queries that I have, right? So I think personally for me, LinkedIn has been great. I am a noob when I compare my LinkedIn usage with all of you guys. So I'm probably gonna sit here and listen and take notes. But thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you so much, Vibin. With that, we're going to move on to our next moderator, Simon. It's so nice to see you here and can't wait to hear all of your tips.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. My name is Simon Lau. I'm the VP of Product at Audit.ai. I've been in the tech industry for 20 plus years in the roles of product engineering and product management, and very familiar with AI, machine learning, and speech technologies. So I am here to help on any tips on LinkedIn and just interviewing in general. One LinkedIn tip that I would share is that take full advantage of your features section. If you have any GitHub projects or podcast shows or YouTube lives or any type of papers and presentations that you want to showcase your work and your projects, definitely take advantage of that. So this is Simon, and I'm done speaking. Oh, there is one more thing that I can offer to this room. I hear a lot of people are saying about taking notes. So if you're a job seeker coming up on stage and really listen to all the mods, great suggestions to your answers to your questions. If you want to get a transcript of that, feel free to DM me or give me a shout out, and I'm happy to create a snippet of that subset of the conversation and send it back to you, so you can just listen and focus on digesting the information instead of scrambling to take notes. This is Simon, and
Thank you so much, Simon. With that, we're going to quickly move on to our next speaker. Dheeraj, the stage is yours for any questions that you might have, and welcome back.
Dheeraj, are you here?
Dheeraj, we can't hear you, so you might
Yeah,
wanna.
is it okay right now?
Yes, better.
Okay, I just had taken out my earphones. Okay. It's empowering to be here. Thank you so much for inviting to me here. And my question to the panel is, a lot of times I've come across people discouraging posting degrees or certifications, but they are the proof that we have done something in that. So how do we have a moderately where we do post all of the certifications we have done, but we don't overdo it? Like, how is the best way possible? Thank you so much.
Hey, this is Amin. Did you want to go first?
Oh no, you can go first, Dan.
So there's a couple of things with the certifications. So I'll try to curtail it the best I can. If you are a job seeker, you should be posting all of your certifications, especially if you're using like LinkedIn Learnings, because as a job seeker, you're looking for things to make you stand out, and every employer wants to know that prospective candidates want to continuously learn. So if you're out of work for 6 months and you do these learnings and you get these certifications, you should absolutely be posting them within your LinkedIn profile. But even more so, you should be adding them to your resume. Now, if you are not a job seeker and you're just looking to increase your certifications, and I'll use the tech space as an example because a lot of people that have GitHub that work in tech, I would limit to only the most important within the featured section or the accomplishments, and then I would put the rest on your GitHub. Or another opportunity is we talk about brag books sometimes, which is basically a list of your accomplishments to make you look good. That's in a binder format. So there's various different ways to accentuate um, your accomplishments in these forms. So just to kind of encapsulate everything with what I said, if you're a job seeker, make sure you're listing add it to your resume. If you are currently in a job, limit so that it doesn't look cluttered, but add to a back file or a brag book or something like that. Amin, over to you.
You mentioned pretty much all I was going to say, except that any of the certifications or degrees that you get are great. But on LinkedIn, I think for the sake of not minimizing the importance of it, it's okay not to post every time you get a new certification. Remember that once you let it show up on your profile, it'll sit on your profile so you can see it anywhere. But sometimes you'll see where someone finishes one section of a certification and then the next hour they finish another one and they're posting each time. To me, I think the perception is it starts to diminish the value of the certification because it's making it look like it's just some like quick thing that you're doing online. So I wouldn't necessarily post it. And some hiring managers that we've spoken to have said that, you know, they're not really focused on that at the moment. So yeah, just let it sit on your profile, but you don't have to announce it to LinkedIn each time. LinkedIn also gives you the option, if it's coming from LinkedIn, to not announce it to your audience or to announce it. So I would say I would err on the side of not announcing it and just letting them see it when they actually do visit your profile. This is Amin. I'm done speaking.
Dheeraj, I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it's absolutely clear, and I am a future job seeker, so I would love to improve all of those in my profile because I've been doing a lot of certifications. So uh, so yeah, am I audible?
Of course, Dheeraj, you're
Yes, you
audible.
are.
Yeah. So in the recent times, I've been doing a lot of certifications. So that was something which was stopping me from posting all of those. So yeah, it got clear. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Dheeraj. And you heard from the best. You have the answer. And in fact, I want to bring up to everyone's attention. Last time when we hosted the room, Dheeraj kindly made notes. He was handwriting them and he shared with us. I would share with everyone. That was really, really kind of you, Dheeraj. That's very highly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Can I just say something also about note taking? So there's someone in the room. His name is Simon. He's right next to Dan on the left side. If you pull to refresh, his company literally does that note taking without like using your hand. So your hands will be hurting by the time you're done taking notes in this room. So I would implore you to check out their product. Sometimes I mean he has to ask permission, but a lot of times on Monday nights when we're in Christian Jared's room for LinkedIn masterclass, he will ask, let's say we're reviewing someone's LinkedIn profile, he'll ask you, do you mind him transcribing it? And you'll be surprised how helpful it is. It's really, really amazing, even with marketing TVs. So please do reach out to Simon and check him out on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and I want to add one thing to something you said. So as a recruiter, there's two facilities in which Otter AI tremendously helps. One is if you're a job seeker and you're doing these virtual interviews, you can have it playing. You can have it taking notes on your computer, and then you could read back what you've actually said, so that you can really fixate and focus on how to improve what you're doing for next time. As a recruiter, I also do the same thing so that I don't miss anything during the course of an interview. So Otter AI, and I don't like to push product, but it's honestly one of the greatest things out there to help job seekers in identifying what their strengths, what their weaknesses are, so they can refer back and tailor things. Because we don't always do the 60-minute pitch the same way. It's just human nature. So definitely use it to your advantage.
Thank you for adding that, Dan. Dan, in fact, I want to check with you. Did you get a chance to introduce yourself yet?
Hey, this is Jetty. Can I make a quick little plug for the same point?
Sure, Jerry. I mean, will it be okay if we come to you with just moving in a PTR order? If it's okay with you, can this wait?
Sure. I'll wait my turn.
Great. Thank you so much, Jerry. That's really kind of you. Appreciate that. Dan, would you like to quickly introduce yourself as well?
Sure. Thank you so much for the time. My name is Dan. I'm a recruiter for Zuna Executive Recruiting. We're a diversity, equity, inclusion based recruiting firm, which basically means that we work with companies that show stability within hiring diverse and cultivating diverse talent, whether it's women, men of different races and otherwise. The other thing that we really make a focus on is working with women to acknowledge what their value should be on the open market instead of what is getting settled for, and then how to ask for raises when it's time to. So it's something that I love waking up every day getting to do. And I'll leave it there. I don't think I could get any better from there. But thank you so much. I appreciate being.
Of course, Dan, we always appreciate you being here because you do some great work. So always great having you on the stage with us. With that, I'll quickly move to Aditya. Aditya, I would like to ask you as well because I'm sure you will have some tips as well, or in case if you have any questions you would like to ask. So go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Abhishek, Ridhija, Raghav, all of you. It's first time I'm joined the Legal Scholars Room. On the stage, of course, I've joined in as an audience most of the times. But I've loved this room and loved the kind of effort you guys have been putting. And always love our conversations in other rooms as well. So I think yes, I was waiting for, of course, my turn, and in that time, since it took quite a bit of time, a lot of people mentioned the point that I wanted to mention. But one thing, the basics of thing that I would just want to highlight here is that if you want to grow on LinkedIn, make sure you have an all-star profile. When I say an all-star profile, that means that you filled up your name, your location, your bio, your interest. You've also attached your media links, your portfolios in the About Us section. That's very, very important. I know it's the most basics of things which is being taught when we start creating a profile on LinkedIn, but that's very, very, very important. Second thing, of course, I've also been using the creator mode, and a lot of people have been answering a lot about it. So I'll not probably go much there. But third thing that I wanted to sort of highlight here is how I used to grow. So I'll give a bit of a context on myself. I invest in startups and I manage this investment firm called FAD. So for me, growing in on LinkedIn was kind of tough as well, but kind of easy as well because there was a lot of action happening in my life. So every time I posted some event, I was getting a lot of traction on it, and that's how I grew up. But I started at the age of 17 on posting on LinkedIn. So yeah, that's a context. The third point that I want to make is a beautiful thing that LinkedIn launched is something called as a LinkedIn Live, right? And LinkedIn Live is being streamed through a lot of private streaming channels, right? So if you have to fill up a form for LinkedIn Live and you get accepted, you get a message from the LinkedIn team. You also have to select a private streaming channel through which you will stream your LinkedIn Live. That is one of the most underrated tools that is out there for growth, right? Because if you want to interact with your audience, if you want to engage with them, LinkedIn Live is a perfect platform to come, and not a lot of creators on LinkedIn are using it. So this is your chance to start going live and start building your community, have interesting people coming over, slowly and steadily build your audience like you're building Clubhouse as well, right? So utilize that tool. But one thing, in fact, I'd love to sort of take them all the moderators viewpoint on this as well. One thing where I went fundamentally right was that fundamentally wrong was that my content was getting of course a lot appreciated, and I was getting a lot of connection requests. So I did not have time to filter through all the connection requests, and I was accepting mostly that I was getting. The result being that at a very early stage of my career, I've almost maxed out my total connection limit, which is of 25K. So I just wanted to ask this question to the moderators out here: that how do you profile, how do you shortlist someone that you want to add into a network, especially when you have, let's say, a lot of requests pending upon? How do you do that? Yeah, that's my question.
This is
Um,
Christy. Is someone else going? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, well, for me, and the one thing you want to think about is, do you want to connect with everyone that reaches out to you, or do you want them to follow you and see your content? Because it's very important to know that LinkedIn has the option to change the call to action on your profile. So everyone that sees your page can either instantly connect with you and have direct access to you, or they can follow you and see all your content and everything you post, but they don't have access to messaging you. So one of the things that I did was, obviously same thing with you. I noticed that when I first started out my career, I was accepting everything, accepting all the connections. But when I became more selective, I realized that, I don't mind if someone follows me, but if I want to really take the time to decide if I want a connection, they have to take the extra step. And so that's what I did. Another option is, you can filter that someone has to have your email address in order to connect with you as well. So LinkedIn adds parameters in place where someone will have to take an extra step to connect with you. And if you know that that's what you want to do to get qualified leads, where people, they want to connect with you so they can really engage with you, then I would say to look into those filters, add maybe they need your email address, make a call to action that they just follow you, or decide. Those are two things that you can decide there. I'm Ramatun. I'm done speaking.
Think I'll tell you from a bit of my perspective. Since I have an investor profile on LinkedIn, generally most of my connection requests are from 70% are from startups which are looking to raise funds. I think now in LinkedIn has a separate feature where if you're not accepting someone's request, it goes into a message request, something like what Instagram does. I'm not sure if that was the case when I started creating in 2017, 2018. So in terms of that, if you don't follow, if you don't connect with someone, your message request gets piled up a lot. So what do you like? What is your like specific to that situation? Do you have any filtering criteria which becomes as such, because you can't just keep on ignoring as well everyone as well, and you can't keep on accepting everyone as well?
So I think Christy wanted to say something.
Well, I was going to give some guidance on the first question, but I'll also give some guidance on this one. And I'm sure everyone does it a little bit differently. But the inbox for LinkedIn, since it doesn't have as many features as I'm sure we'd all love, so since we can't add the folders, one of the things that I do is I time block every week, and I will go through and I will just start archiving so that anything that needs to be in front of me that I need to catch, I will. It's really hard because there are people that message you that you need to hear from through LinkedIn that may not have reached out to your personal email. So I understand completely the struggle. Yours is probably a lot more busy than mine. But for me, it's
No
also
new
been a
company
challenge. So I just
actually
archive
has
as I go.
any.
If it's not something that I need to be responding to, or if it's something that's not relevant, or if it's, someone like maybe spamming or trying to sell, I just archive and I just go down and I just continue to archive. And that's been actually a huge help for me. I don't know if anyone else has a different method, but with the limited tools in there, that's one of the things I do. And then quickly on the who to connect with and who not to, one of the things I want to mention is, I know that there are a lot of people in this room right now, and we are talking about LinkedIn networking. There are a lot of people with Clubhouse bios that don't have their LinkedIn bio in them. And if there is someone in the audience that can help you, they read your bio, if there's someone that can collaborate with you or help you into a different position or network you to the right person, if you have a name that's either
Tá
common or maybe
sentindo a
the same as
energia?
it is on your LinkedIn profile, please put your URL
Don't trust
link in there. And
miracles.
then as far as
Trust
what
me.
people are accepting, I know for me, I don't mind connecting with people that I meet on Clubhouse if I don't know them, as long as there's a message with the connection request. So if you are sending connection requests to people in the room, please do add a note, even if it's just I heard you speaking in the Clubhouse room,
You
or
do what you have
you
to.
were in such and such talking about whatever tip it was that they were talking about. That's one thing that will help people to connect with you. So on the other side of it, and then another thing that I do is I do take time to go look at the profile to make sure that, unfortunately, there are some profiles on LinkedIn that can be the best intentions, or maybe spam. I do look at the profile, and it takes forever to do this, but I do look at the profile, and I also go to the activity section
Don't
and
trust
I read how they
miracles.
comment other
Trust
people's
me.
posts, because I don't want to connect with someone who's going to get into my posts and start commenting negatively or trying to start
Don't
debate
trust
with my
miracles.
connections,
Trust me.
which doesn't help anyone's personal brand or their networking. So I do both of those things. So that's another tip too. If you're in people's activity section, if you're commenting on posts and you're negative, people are checking for that before they connect with you. So hopefully those tips help. Thanks.
This is Amin. I just wanted to add one last thing. This is for everyone who has maxed out on their connections, because I think you
Agora o bicho
mentioned,
vai pegar.
Aditha, that you are maxed out. So what you can do
Agora o
is
bicho vai
on your
pegar.
LinkedIn profile, you're looking on the desktop view, and you go to My Network. On the left side, it says
Agora o
Manage My
bicho vai
Network,
pegar.
and you can tap on Connections. And then what I typically do is you can also, once you tap on Connections, you'll see where it says
I
Search
am the hurricane.
with filters. And so this is where you can filter out who's not in your industry, because you said earlier on you
No
accepted every
crime.
connection
No
request. Remember that everybody you accept as a connection request, your homepage will be filled with content based on your followers, just like
Tá
here on
sentindo a
Clubhouse, and
energia?
based on who you're connected with. So as Ramatu mentioned and as Christy mentioned, you can filter out by the type of connections that you have. You can look at, okay, are these people in my industry? If they're not, you can start removing connections. I know it seems bad, but it really isn't bad. If they're not in the industry that you're interested in, and they're not connected to you in that way where you see that type of content that you're interested in, you can start removing connections and then quickly go over to your settings and privacy and switch over the default. Even if you don't want to be in creator mode, switch the default to your followers seeing the default to follow you first instead of connecting. And so the way to do that is you go to view profile, hit settings and privacy, and then on the left side where it says excuse me, I think it's visibility, yes, visibility, you go down to followers and hit change and toggle yes for make follow primary. So all those people that you've maxed out all your connections, you should have made it that they should follow you so you can grow your followership, and then that way you connect with people who are actually in your industry. So those are the things that I think you can add on top of the tips that Ramatu and Christy gave and everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Amin, Christy, and everyone else. Aditya, thank you so much for bringing your points as well and asking that question. That was really relevant, like always. Great having you. I want to do a quick reset. This is Legal Solace Mentor, the club icon you can see above Ritij and my picture. Do give it a follow. She hosts brilliant rooms always, and you can see the topic today as well. It's kept everyone engaged for over 90 minutes now, and we're still going strong. So if you have any questions, we have open hand raising again, but please make sure when you come up on stage, please mute your mics. Uh, Make sure they do not disrupting the stage because we have really important points coming up. People are sharing great insights. We are all here to learn. With that, I'll move to our next set of moderators. Ryan, so good to see you. Over to you. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Abhishek. My name is Ryan Treese. I have about a decade's worth of industrial automation and factory automation experience, mostly in IoT and machine vision. So one thing I've always found helpful is supporting those starting out. I did a project, a pilot, and there's usually an intern assigned to that. So I made it a point at the end of the project, knowing that they were graduating, to put a recommendation out for them. So I always check not only the recommendations that those people have on their profile, but also if they're giving them to others. So I know that's built off of a means point, but yeah, maybe another way to look at it. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Ryan. Again, always great having you, and always love the Industry 4.0 clubs. If you don't follow him already, you must, because he hosts some great rooms as well. With that, I'll move on to Major Vandana. Major Vandana, always a pleasure having you. Over to you. Okay, I think we'll circle back to Major Vandana. She might not be here. Ramatu, would you like to take a second and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Ramatu. I'm a brand strategist that has worked in the B2B space and moved into the B2C space once I got my MBA in marketing. I have loved using LinkedIn. I used it to get a job, and somehow through being active, I've been able to start my own business as well as land my last job, my current job, which is at a Big Four. So know a lot of great tips, tricks, and want to share that with everyone on stage. So yeah, I'm Ramatu and I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Ramatu. Great having you. I'm so sorry for mispronouncing your name. Thank you so much for joining us. Jerry, thank you so much for graciously waiting. Over to you.
Hey, thank you so much for having me and for running this room. I really appreciate the space. I mean, be really honest with you, all I really wanted to, come on stage was when the when the praise party was going for Otter.ai. So I I'm a serial entrepreneur. My past 4 years, I've done a mental health tech startup. I can get into that in a little bit. All I really wanted to say was, for the past 2 years, I have been a power user and a very happy pro, paid customer of Otter.ai. There are only two um, services that I pay for, and I don't mean for this to be a a shooting shot thing at Simon, but yeah, Otter is indisputably the one I would have happily paid for and kept. My NPS score is like 48 out of 10, and it's been a game changer. So for startups, super valuable. For recruiting, interviewing, super valuable. I can't even begin to go into all the ways in which it's helped me. I would really just want to encourage that. And that's all I really wanted to come on earlier and specifically chime in on. But I do have some points that I could bring to the room. Like I said, I've been a serial entrepreneur my whole life, mental health tech startup. I took a company from ideation, and taught myself app development, and got all the way to first customers in the healthcare space. So I could really speak on a range of things, especially with networking. And I think that one thing I can definitely contribute to the room, specific to LinkedIn, is really this sort of give first mentality that I try to lead with. And by that I mean, we're all trying to buff up our resumes, but one tactic that can be helpful, as long as you view your efforts as a gift, is going to other people who you respect, either from a distance or you've worked with them, and offering to write them a recommendation, or endorsing a skill for them. And this works much better if you view it as a gift than more sort of tit for tat transactional. But gifting people who you respect does create a link from you to them, and very often you'll actually find that people will offer to write one in return. And so, I would just volunteer that. Now, again, view it as a gift. But don't be surprised if the universe, responds in kind and people reciprocate. So I will end with that and continue listening. Thank you very much. I yield my time.
Thank you so much, Jerry, and thank you for patiently waiting earlier. And again, I'll certainly go and check us on platform before after doing shout out, and that's what we're doing here. That's how we're doing it. Because Simon has been a great value add to all our rooms. I've been very fortunate enough to listen to him a couple of times now. So thank you for the shout out as well. With that, I'll move on to our next speaker. Sachin, thank you for patiently waiting. Do you have any questions for us today?
Yeah, thank you so much, Abhishek. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you so much for this amazing room. I think listening to all these wonderful tips. So I recently started a social media agency, and I have a fair understanding of other social media apps like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and that's never been an issue with me. LinkedIn is something which is not my forte. So I have a specific question. Can we leverage groups to grow business pages? I'm not talking about personal profiles, but can we specifically use groups to grow business pages? If yes, how? And if not, how can we grow business or company pages? That I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Would anyone like to address that question? That's a very great question, by the way, Sachin.
Thank you.
This is Rama too. It was awkward silence. So I will just speak on groups on LinkedIn in general. Groups on LinkedIn, you have to look at the activity in the groups, but I will say, as someone that has tried to leverage different groups on LinkedIn, it's not the best platform to get engagement. It's something that a lot of people want to do once in a while. Business with groups, try to find groups that are actually active. And I would say that a lot of groups are stagnant versus the platform like Facebook, where Facebook groups propels the platform. I would say that a lot of businesses and in the B2B space,
First Blood
for B2B really happens with paid media and then also in the direct messages. So I would say that it's interesting because it's a social media site, but when you really think about it, you really have to act as more of a personal brand. So I would say if you are going to try to use groups, try to just find groups that are active, but really try to create different events for your business and use that to interact with people attending events and use the messages to really engage people that are interested in your business and the activities that you have going on. Also, LinkedIn really, with events on your homepage, that's what shows up. And depending on the length of time for your event, you can actually have an ongoing event, and that gives prime real estate on someone's homepage, network page as well. I'd love for someone else, one of the mods, to chime in, but I'll just say I really don't see too much activity with LinkedIn groups. I'm Ramatu, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much for that, Ramatu. Would anyone else like to add something? Okay, great.
Abhishek, just 1 second. Sachin, could you just repeat the second part of your question? I think I could help you out with that.
Okay, so my second question was, if we cannot leverage groups to grow business pages, what other things can we do to grow business pages?
All right. So again, I'm a big advocate of
First Blood.
A lot of times,
I am so sorry. I meant business pages and not group pages. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I could help. So the question is whether or not they're good to utilize.
Double kill.
I am so sorry. I'll just repeat the entire thing. So if we cannot leverage groups to grow business or company pages, what other way can we use, or what other things we can do to grow our business page? I have a business page. What activities can I do to grow my business or company page?
This is Christy. I can chime in on this one. I think, sorry that we were confused. So I think there's several different things that you can do. I've got a lot of clients I've helped with this. So one of the things you'll see occasionally that there will be trending topics that may pop up in notifications. And if you have an active business page, you can actually comment on those trending topics with your business page. This is a great way to get quick exposure to an audience that isn't already following you. Another thing you can do is to be actively posting on your business page, but then also tag relevant people to what you're posting or use the relevant hashtags. Another thing that I've seen that's been very helpful, since personal pages are usually optimized so much more and they're in the feed so much more, you can actually share your business page posts from your personal page to drive your traffic back to your business page. It's a little bit tongue twister. So hopefully those tips will help you. Best of luck.
First blood.
Thank you so much, Christy. I really appreciate it.
All right, perfect. With that, Abhishek, do you want to continue moderating,
Sure,
or
of
would
course,
you
of
like
course, I'm
to
here. Yeah, of course, I
pass it
was
over?
waiting. No, of course, I'll do that. Thank you so much, Sachin, for joining us today and asking that wonderful question. With that, we have next speaker, Akash. Akash, thank you for joining us. Do you have any question for us today?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for giving me opportunity. So I am Akash and I am a law graduate. And my question is, how to use this professional platform to approach the recruiters and to have a self branding for yourself.
All right. So you want to know how to use LinkedIn to approach recruiters?
Yes, and how to create, how to do self branding.
All right. I think you can directly answer this question since you are a legal recruiter.
Yes, thank you, Deja. No, this is Rob speaking in the red. So what I see a lot of law graduates doing at the moment in terms of increasing their personal brand, and I can give you a couple of tangible examples of people if you just send me a direct to share some links to their LinkedIn profiles. But one is either starting a particular podcast connected to an area of law. Two is documenting their own individual journeys. So I'll mention an individual now called Phil Stevenson. He is producing a lot of content connected to his personal brand related to increasing neurodivergent loyal. So he's producing a lot of content and creating and collaborating within that area of law to boost his personal brand. And as an extension of that, he actually managed to secure a paralegal position and is on course then to secure a training contract. So I would highly recommend making sure that you produce content about something you're passionate about and then collaborating with people connected to that legal industry. A tip, I would also make sure that you are networking with Deja and Legal Scholars and try and produce content or collaborate with like-minded people in that space. There's lots and lots of people I can connect you to help you raise your profile, particularly in the legal space. So please just send me a direct message and I can introduce lots of people and give you some more thought leaders to give you some examples of people in the exact space to you that are running YouTube channels and various things and linking to their LinkedIn, which hopefully will help you.
Thank you so much, Robert. And also, Akash, one thing I'd like to add is that since you do want to reach out to recruiters, make sure your LinkedIn profile is updated and has all the relevant things that are needed, because a lot of legal recruiters usually download your LinkedIn profile as a resume and use that to identify candidates for job roles. So if you could quickly just DM me your LinkedIn profile, then that would be great, and Robert and I can definitely help you out on there. And Monica, you had something to say?
Yes, Riteja. So I wanted to share a couple of things. So since last year to this year, I've actually increased my own follower count by about, I think, 65%. And I didn't do anything spectacular, but since this question has come up, I just wanted to answer two things. The personal brand is about the kind of work that you're doing, and if you're interested in building it, the best way to is actually first start sharing, but also start, and this is something that Simarpreet has brought up earlier, which is to actually give and receive. So make sure that you not only actively post, but you also post on content that has been shared associated with your subject,
First
that you're
blood.
trying to build a personal brand in, and at least do it 2 to 3 times a day on 5 to 6 posts. Now, I know that there was somebody earlier, I've forgotten the name, her name was Savage, endorsements. This can be something similar. When you start commenting on other people's posts on a similar subject, you develop your own style about how you want to write, and you also start being known in those circles as being sort of a person who's contributing to a subject. Of course, just writing great insightful comment, and then you'll develop your own style because you will start appearing in that search result as well. Number one. Number two, start posting about your own domain. And number three, which is very relevant and most important, which people forget, when you're posting links, just don't post a link because it's a news item that has been shared. Even if you add your 2 cents, which can be that I think this is a really great move by this very good company, however, I'm not convinced that this is going to work because of these 3 reasons. Even if it is wrong, it is much better to have an opinion rather than having no opinion, and that really helps you in getting the conversation going. So I hope this will help, but trust me, just getting your voice out there does not mean just always about yourself. Just doing it for others as well just helps you get noticed. So please do keep that in mind, and all the best.
Thank you so much, Monica. Akash, I have received your message, and Robin and I will look at your profile and help you out separately. Since we have a lot of speakers here up on stage, I'm gonna pass the moderation back to Abhishek or Raghav, and we can move on with the other speakers.
Thank you, Ridija. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Monica.
Great. Thank you so much, Akash, and I hope you were able to get some meaningful insights and answers from that. With that, we'll move to our next speaker, which is Mohammed. Thank you so much for joining us, Mohammed, and the stage is yours. Please go ahead and ask a question.
Oh my god, the room has been so valuable, guys. Kudos to that, and huge shout out. I heard the success of part 1, and I was moderating a particular parallel room, and I could not join. And I was like, should I join? Please, I want to join, but I could not join. But right now I'm here, and I've been loving the content you guys have been putting. So kudos to you, and congratulations on the success of the room, guys. I'm loving it. Talking about my journey with LinkedIn, it's been a romantic ride. I've started putting out content on LinkedIn a year and a half ago, and it has been amazing. Like before Clubhouse, LinkedIn was my bread and butter. I used to, now I'm a content creator on LinkedIn, a brand strategist and a personal branding guide for a lot of people. And I guide people too on how to start with LinkedIn and grow on LinkedIn, right? And my 2 cents on how you can grow on LinkedIn, I'll just cover the overall topic since it's a networking, or LinkedIn tip room. So I would share how I made sure that I grew on LinkedIn. I use these 5 C's, okay, to grow on LinkedIn. Okay, first was consumption of content. It should be really important on LinkedIn. You have to make sure that you consume good amount of content on LinkedIn, and make sure your feed is clean. Yeah, you have to make sure the feed is clean. You follow the right people according to your niche. And commenting game. And the next one is the commenting game, right? You have to make sure that comments are at most important. Comments are like posts on LinkedIn. The right comments will make you to grow immensely on the platform, right? And then it's creation, putting your personal brand out, right? Putting your perspectives out, anything you want. So make sure you create posts on LinkedIn, because the organic reach, oh my god, I can't tell you guys, it's so amazing, right? And the next is, it's really common. The next C is really common. It's consistency. If you're putting out your content, be consistent, because yes, the reach on LinkedIn can get a little haywire, but if you're consistent, it will give you good results. And next, C is collaboration. Make sure you collaborate with a lot of people on the platform, right? Collaborate with your fellow people and create a lot of LinkedIn lives, a lot of posts, a lot of webinars, because it will help you to get access to their network and they will get access to your network. And that's how you grow in collaboration. And a fun little question I want to ask, and I ask everyone who's using LinkedIn. Okay, you have been seeing the growth of audio apps right now. Now, they say that Clubhouse is LinkedIn on steroids, because 60% of the rooms out there are networking rooms, collaboration rooms, entrepreneur rooms, social rooms out there, right? But if there is audio spaces on LinkedIn, what do you think the redistribution in the audio industry would be? How would it look like, right? And how would the margin would be, right? Because I'm interested in knowing that, because, for example, if tomorrow LinkedIn introduces its own audio spaces, how will the result be in the audio industry out there?
Great. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for sharing that and asking that question. Does anybody on the mod panel want to take a stab at that question? So if LinkedIn was to implement the audio platform, how would that turn out to be? Yes, Dilbag, flashing your mic, and Simmerpreet. Yes, either
I
one
can
of
go
you.
after Simmerpreet. Go for it, Simmerpreet.
Please go
I'll
ahead.
go after.
No, just I was just about to joke. I think I know Mohammed very well, and Mohammed, nothing else. Ridija is going to create another audio space session there, and it's going to go viral also on LinkedIn, and it's going to be crazy. We're going to do another revolution. No, I think you've just raised some wonderful points, Mohammed, and I think. I really think that LinkedIn. I think someone was speaking about. I think Aditya was speaking about the LinkedIn
First
Live
blood.
and about the 5 C's that you've covered. I think I, from me the biggest, the most important C I feel is the collaboration, which we don't talk about. There is a huge focus on consumption, content creation, but I feel that if you collaborate
Double
with fellow
kill.
LinkedIn influencers and even people who reply to you, right? People who are seeking maybe a job, and I think in the last session also I had mentioned that if you're approaching someone for a job or writing a message, please be very articulate, right? When people just write good afternoon, good evening, you don't know what to reply to those messages. So I think just be good on that platform, and I feel that collaboration, even with a fellow job seeker also, or anyone, right? Just be good on that platform, and I think the power of replying back. I know it's not possible to reply back to all messages, but at least in the last session, I think Abhishek, I had covered that there is an amazing power of just replying back, and I just ensure when you're online, it just takes a second just to write a God bless you, or just to say that you're doing a great work. So I think, Mohammed, I completely agree. What's going to happen with LinkedIn if audio session comes in? I'm very sure Ridija, Abhishek, and Raghav are going to kill that also. They're going to create a LinkedIn tips and network session on the spaces, and I'm sure LinkedIn the people are going to be
First
after them,
blood.
after more of those sessions. But that's going to be great, yeah. If that's the case, I'm that's going to be just amazing. The kind of networking, and the just imagine the kind of people that we would be able to meet. That would be just amazing. So yeah, thank you. And the second,
Double
just to
kill.
conclude, I think collaboration is the key, and I think thank you, Mohammed, for raising that up. I didn't cover it in my last part, but I think collaboration. I think once everybody's down, Abhishek, I would like to have some points on the collaboration part. So over to you, Raghav. Thank you.
Well, this is
Thank
Robin, so I just wanted
you.
to chime in because I work in marketing.
Yes, please go ahead.
If you work in marketing, especially if you work at the B2B space, you pushing marketing campaigns that really help with thought leadership, especially with the CEO and C-suite audience, is you put that in your marketing plan as a drive, and you put that in your marketing plan and use that as a driver. So I was going to say that for larger companies or companies increase. Sorry, someone's not on mute. So I was going to say that I see the CEOs becoming more active on the platform because it allows for So I just want to say that as it's definitely going to become more active. So a lot of CEOs right now, the market put together thought leadership that they should push out, whether it's posts, whether it's articles. So it's just another opportunity for us to really amplify their voices. So I definitely see more events and more CEOs being active on LinkedIn because of the audio spaces showing the really high turnover, really high ROI. It's just new. It's going to be more CEOs being active. So I'm Ram Timothy speaking.
Thank you so much, Ram, too, for sharing that. And I think Dilbag, you wanted to add something as well before we move on.
Hi, yes, thank you so much, Raghav. This is Dilbag speaking. So I just wanted to add to the points already made. I think if LinkedIn was to have an audio room or audio kind of feature similar to this, it would be very much a game changer because, you know, it all comes down to the numbers we get and also the relevance per person. So what I mean by that is, you know, for me working in the healthcare industry, a lot of my network on LinkedIn is with people that are in my field. And if I had audio-based options, I already have a huge network on there, and you know, it just allows for that instant connection for you to actually speak to people or discuss within Clubhouse. You know, I don't really know how long it's been around for, maybe, you know, just a year now, perhaps. It's still got a lot in terms of catching up to do. Like within my field, for instance, which is very niche, very specialized, I've not met a lot of people on Clubhouse within that sector. You know, it's great to network with people in other fields, and there's always opportunities to learn from them. But when it comes to my own niche, I know a lot of my audience and target kind of, you know, consumers are on LinkedIn. So it would be great, you know, if they had that feature. I think when we talk about the audio rooms themselves, like, you know, we have is it Green Room now? Yeah, Green Room, and you have Clubhouse. They offer very different things, but some apps like, you know, LinkedIn are very much established for professional networking. When we talk about Clubhouse, you know, it's great. We've got this forum here today, and we've got a lot of people joining in. But again, you know, if we were to compare it to Manifesto, it's not very much like just for professional networking. There's just so much on Clubhouse. So I think LinkedIn having their own audio rooms would really be a great thing for professionals for future. So this is Dilbag and Don speaking.
Hey, this is Danny. I just want to chime in real quick, and I don't mean to be a pessimist. Here's the thing, and I'm glad Gopal is not here while I'm saying this. LinkedIn has, as much as I love the platform, it's my main platform, LinkedIn has a weird way of doing things. The entire creator mode rollout was so spastic and did not hit so many of the marks that you'd expected it to, that you really don't know how these things are going to work. So I would just be mindful that, yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, I would love LinkedIn to have a chat feature, but I honestly think that it would have been better off just partnering with Clubhouse at this point. So if we ever do get there, just be aware that they'll probably have I don't even know how to get into this. It's just so many things are completely backwards with how they roll things out. So yeah, just be mindful. There's nothing else nice I can say about that.
This is Christy. I'll pop in with a nice real quick and then talk a bit better. I just want to say, since we are in a LinkedIn tips and networking room, I do want to tie this back into the networking piece. I have heard that LinkedIn employees, some of them have tested it, so they are in process of creating it. I don't know how far along it is, but apparently it is a go. There's a green light, so it is coming. If you already have a great network on LinkedIn, it can be a big game changer for you. So if you're here and you don't have a large network, and you know how sometimes it takes a while to build that network, if you've already got it there, this is going to be fantastic. For the people that don't have a big network there, let this be the neon billboard or the 2x4 to the head that tells you you're in the right place right now. The Legal Scholars Mentored Club, if you're not following the club, please do tap that greenhouse at the top, because Herdeja, who's in the top left corner, you need to be following her as well, is putting on great rooms like this to help you not only excel with LinkedIn, but also help you network with all the right people to grow in your career. Continue to come to these rooms. Please put your LinkedIn URL at the top of your Clubhouse bio. Look around you, look at the people on the stage, look at the people that are moderating, look at the people that are in the audience, that are in the row above you, below you, look at the people beside you. Connect with them if it makes sense, and go ahead and build that network now before the audio chat does come to LinkedIn, so that when it does come there, you have an opportunity to be a thought leader because you've already got a built-in audience. So work fast now so that you can be ready then. Thanks so much. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Christy, for sharing that. And in fact, that's a brilliant point you brought up as well. That yes, we've all heard that yes, LinkedIn is in the process of rolling that feature out. Only when it comes out in its beta phase as well will we be able to tell how it's performing. But thank you for bringing that up. And I just want to quickly go back and check if Nishika is available now. I know we did not get a time to introduce herself very well. Nishika, if you're here, over to you.
Hi Raghav and hi everyone. Yes, I'm back now with better connection. So very quickly, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Nishika and I'm based in London. So what I do is I'm in the legal sector in commercial litigation, and I work for a fintech. And what I do is I am in charge of restructuring the in-house legal team. So in essence, what I do is I work in commercial litigation, debt recovery, and loan books for the fintech. And that's what I've been doing for the past year now, and I really do enjoy it. In terms of my background, I am an LLB law graduate, and I've also completed my Masters of Law. I think it's a great room that we're holding here, and we've had some great tips from all of the mods. Just one quick tip from myself on LinkedIn would be to utilize the My Network area on LinkedIn. If you click on My Network and scroll down, you can see a lot of different online events, which have really helped me actually. I've recently found out a online event and club called CCM UA, which is really beneficial to myself, which is actually the Civil Court Users Association. And what happens over there is every week we get to have a webinar with different judges, get to see what sort of cases they're working on, any tips that we can get as lawyers from them. So there are a lot of great, events and a lot of great programs there. Since, a lot of countries are in lockdown now, these are events that you can just, organize free of charge, attend them, and get a lot from them. So I would really recommend you use that on LinkedIn as well. This is Nishika and I'm done speaking. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Nishika, for joining us, and thank you for sharing that quick tip as well. Really appreciate that. And just going to do a quick little reset, although Christy has already mentioned it, but yes, we are hosting this room under Legal Scholars Mentored. And if you're not already following it, make sure you do that because you're going to be part of such amazing rooms as well. The club has been formed by Riteja. She's on the top left. You can see her with the cute profile picture right now. And we're talking about LinkedIn tips and networking today. And this is part two. This is a continuation of what we had last week. And we have an amazing panel of mods. So go ahead and ask us those questions. There's some amazing insight to be shared as well. With that, I'm going to move to the next moderator who's just joined us as well, Felipe. Felipe, over to you, and would love to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Prakash. My name is Felipe Cofino. I'm actually based out of the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and I am a VP of HR and Talent Development in the banking and finance industry. And my big passion is just helping people with a career journey. I've been a LinkedIn and career coach for the last 15 years, and then been in HR and training for the last 25. So my goal again is to help out with career journey. And the only thing I would like to add is I think, what Ramatu was saying about, a lot of the leaders and CEOs having voices out there, I would definitely agree with that. I think that a lot more are starting to see the value of that, and they're starting to use videos. My CEO, I'm getting ready to post a video on Monday of my CEO communicating how we are going to be opening up more and how we're doing what we're doing to keep people safe and some of the new features that we have available for people to use. And it's a great way of communicating. And whether it's video or audio, I'm seeing it happen more and more with thought leaders. So I just wanted to echo what Ramatu said. And this is Felipe, and I'm complete. And thank you for having me on stage.
Thank you, Felipe, for joining us. Really appreciate that. And with that, we'll move over to our next speaker, Divya. Thank you so much for joining us, Divya. And okay, Divya has left the room.
suddenly, but no worries. Shrikant, over to you then. If you have any question or any insights that you would like to share. Shrikant, are you here with us? Okay.
Hi, hi Raghu. Thanks for giving this opportunity. This is a very great room. Listening to all of you from last 1 hour. This is a really great room. Uh, just my suggestion is, uh, my question is like, can you explain about the display pictures which makes great role in LinkedIn for keeping as a display pictures?
Okay. Thank you so much, Shrikant. Just to repeat that question, so what Shrikant has just asked us is what role does a good profile picture play on LinkedIn, and what is a good profile picture basically? Does anybody want to take a stab at that quickly?
This is
Go ahead, Ramatu.
this is a good question because it has evolved over time. So it depends what your personal brand is, you know. But I will say that um, LinkedIn is becoming more personal, and you know, a professional headshot. Yes, you definitely want a professional headshot, but in terms of what you wear, it has changed. I say this as someone I saw recently had a full blown like full blown suit, looked like a tux. It was like a wedding photo, and it looked a little too formal for LinkedIn. So what I would say is I found that business casual, something that is personable and a clear, clean headshot really does work with LinkedIn now. Something that makes you look inviting and something that is clear and has, you know, something from the shoulders up, I think works very well. I'm Ramtun, I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Ramatu. And Felipe, I think you wanted to add something?
Yes, thank you. This is Felipe. I just wanted to add, I think having a clear background behind you so that if it's not too busy, so that you pop out, and really making sure, like I think Ramatu said, shoulders up I think is the best thing, but having a clear look and then either having some kind of expression, like I love Ramatu's expression with her eyes, it tells something, it captures you, or if you're not doing anything creative and different like that, make sure that you're smiling and that it's clear and then people can see your eyes, because I think that's important and it's always something that's very helpful. And the last thing I'll say is, if you're in a LinkedIn room like you are right now in Clubhouse, and you are trying to get tips and maybe have people look at your profile, change your picture here to match your LinkedIn profile so that it's easy to find you. This is Felipe, and I'm complete.
This, this is Christy. Can I just add a couple more things? So if you, I don't know how familiar you are with the pixels, but just for anyone in the room as well that might understand this, you want to make sure that the ideal size for your LinkedIn profile picture is 400. Right, I think we've got someone else. Thank you. 400 by 400 pixels. And then you're also going to want to make, so that will be high resolution. People can see you clearly. It's not blurry. And the other thing is LinkedIn does recommend that your profile picture is like your face is like 60% of the frame. So instead of being at a distance, instead of having other people in it, if it can be mainly your face or 60%, then that's what they're saying is ideal for if people that are going to be clicking, people that are going to be responding, and that gets the best results. Hopefully that helps. I'm done speaking.
I wanted to add a few things. This is Monica.
Whatever criteria you think is relevant for that company.
Do in a resume, as against to having a profile picture on LinkedIn, which everybody does have. Now, apparently, the research that they did by talking to the employers goes like this: that employers do want to look up the person's profile picture on LinkedIn, so it becomes almost like a hygiene factor. So, exactly to what Christine said, just building on it, as far as the women are concerned, it would be nice to be able to see your faces. Therefore, have a profile picture which clearly demonstrates your face as well as, of course, the upper part of your body. The same goes for the men. I've seen pictures where men, especially men, do have a lot their sunglasses. You have personal pictures of the kind that can be branded as personal. So this is really a professional network, and people are looking to really understand more about you. A clear profile picture without any ornamentation, both for the women as well as for the men, equally. And if you do have a mustache, then just make sure that you're clean and clearly visible in the picture. There should be no background, and if there is a background, it at least doesn't gel with the, it doesn't kind of, you know, camouflage with the clothes that you're wearing. This is like really basic. And sometimes just wanted to draw your attention, there are actually executive recruiters who actually have profile for headshots of the executive clients click specifically for LinkedIn, and even for the header pictures. So while this may happen to very few people, one thing goes for sure, that this is it's necessary to at least have a decent size picture, and make sure that you're looking what you look like in real life, because there will be video interviews most likely even in these scenarios. I'm Monica, and I'm done speaking.
Hey, real quick before we move on, thank you so much for those points, Monica, because it just reminded me. I want to make sure that we give everyone in the room a resource. So if you're hearing us say don't have anything in the background, or you can have a colored black background and you're trying to figure out how in the world to do that, there is a website that you can use, canva.com, canva.com. It has a tool on there. It can remove the background from your profile picture, and you can also put any color behind it that you want to. So I hope that helps. Done speaking.
One last thing, there is a website called photofeeler.com, which will have, it'll score your profile picture. So other people will look at your profile picture and they'll tell you what they think about it. Sorry. And then you get a score at the end. It'll take like a couple days. I will change my picture to the last time I tried to do it and the different ways that it scored me. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to my call.
Thank you, Tanya, for bringing that up. And yet, yes, I have used the tool that Tanya is talking about. That is very helpful in terms of profile picture, as Monica rightly pointed out, that yes, in the current virtual times that we're living in, I think if a recruiter is looking you up on LinkedIn, that profile picture is going to act as your first impression, even before you've been called in for, let's say, an interview or a first telephonic round of interviews as well. So make sure that profile picture is very well thought about. And as Felipe said, it should resonate well with your brand language and what resonates most with you. So thank you for bringing that up. And thank you for that question, Shrikant. With that, we'll move over to our next speaker. Perfect. Thank you. And the next speaker is Saurav. Over to you, Saurav. Any questions that you have or any insights you want to share?
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much for having this room, and it's been very helpful. I've been noting down a few points. So, like I've been social introvert in LinkedIn right from the start. So, but I intend to start building meaningful engagement through LinkedIn articles and posts. But I have this question, like what advice would you give, like for someone who's just getting started? And if when we say about articles, like are the articles are limited to the technical articles, or is it something personal opinions, which is kind of off topic? So, um, uh, like any insights on this, like how to get started?
Um, okay, I'll just chime in here. Saurav, you don't necessarily have to put only technical articles. You could even jot down your own journey and just put down, it doesn't matter whether it's professional or personal. You can use LinkedIn for both. But I'd really like our expert LinkedIn panel to talk about what kind of posts they encourage. But for me, in my personal opinion, you can have either.
This is Christy. So I just took a quick look at your profile, and I think for you, I first of all, absolutely, Rajaja said everything perfectly about business and personal. It can be either. For you, what I would do is, since you are a consultant, business analyst, you've got experience with social media as well. You've been a co-founder. There are a lot of people that would love to hear about what it is that you do. So, how do you become a business analyst, or what are some of the things that are trending that would be helpful? So you can share articles, but then also add your own key takeaways about why you think it's important, or put in information about, some top 3 tips about how social media can help with consulting, or putting in some tips about things that you used when you were a co-founder, or productivity tips that you have. You can do anything that's going to be relevant to your audience. So really first kind of reverse engineer it and think about, who do you want to get to? Who are you wanting to be a thought leader for? And then what do they need? So do they need productivity tips? Do they need to know about how to become a business analyst? Do they need to know about how to get a job at Deloitte? Do they need to know about how to be a co-founder? And then answer that need with some thought leadership, with whether it's your own top tips or if you're sharing somebody else's. And you can do that in the form of posts, whether it's text, video, graphics, or you can also do it as an article. If you're going to do an article, recognize that it's not going to get as much traction as the posts will. So for anyone that's going to do articles, you also want to follow up those articles by posting in your feed about the article. So write your article and publish it on LinkedIn, but then come back with a short form post that adds the link to that article in that post to drive traffic over to it. So I hope that's helpful. I'm done speaking.
So this is Felipe. I just wanted to add, Christy gave you some great advice, and I think, sometimes starting off can be a little bit overwhelming. So whatever you do, start off at your own pace that you feel comfortable, and to her point, figure out what is the one area that resonates the most with you. Are you somebody who likes doing videos? Are you more a photographer? Or are you more of a writer? Whatever one you're the most comfortable with, start off with that, and then just be consistent. If you do it once every week or whatever it is, just keep on doing it and then build on that. Because I think that, to Chrissy's point, there's so many different features you can use. I am not a writer. I like photography, so I use a lot of images and videos. But I have written articles, and I just reposted one about mental wellness today, about that I wrote almost a year ago. And it's something that you can repurpose it and repost it. But it's something that part there, I don't spend a lot of time because I'm not a great writer. So I spend more time on the photography side. So use whatever strength you have or whatever you have the most passion about and tap into that to help you, guide you in starting off. This is Felipe, and I'm complete.
Thank you so much, Felipe and Christy, for your inputs, and I hope that answered your question, Saurav.
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much, Christy, Felipe, and Rideja for answering and giving wonderful insights.
Thank you so much for being here. With that, we're going to move on to our next speaker, Syed. Welcome, and the stage is yours for any questions that you have. Syed, are you here? All right. With that, we'll circle back to him in a while. Simran, do you have any questions for the panel here today?
Yeah, hi everyone, and this is such a great room, and I've just took some great insights about my LinkedIn profile. I don't post as much on LinkedIn. I'm just there for professional networking and to collaborate with the researchers. I'm currently working on a genetic research, and I'm looking for researchers and neurologists. I just wanted one tip regarding my about section because I really don't know how to frame it. So I just wanted to know if anybody can give me an insight about that.
Absolutely. Do you have your LinkedIn profile up in your bio?
Yeah, I have it.
All right. So we'll circle back to you if any of the mods would like to have a quick look at Simran's profile.
One quick point I right away wanted to add, Simran, I would like to request you to just change your profile name to just Simran Chawla instead of the numerical digits. That's one particular point. That's one thing on the onset I wanted to point out.
Yeah, I did that already.
All right. Thank you so much, Abhishek. And Simran will circle back to you while we're trying to locate your profile and see how we could help you out with the About section. With that, we're going to move on to our next speaker, Hardik. Welcome. And what questions do you have for us today?
Thank you guys for having me again. Thank you for hosting part 2 of this. It really helped me last time around. And so my question is I wanted to know more about LinkedIn Creator Mode. So how it can help us to optimize our LinkedIn profile more, and also if we are using LinkedIn Creator Mode, does it help our reach on LinkedIn? Does it in any way increase our reach? If yes, then how can we work upon that?
All right. Would any of the mods like to take that question? I know we had Robert here, but it seems he's not available at the moment. And he uses creator mode since past few months. But Christy, go ahead.
Hi, so great question. Thank you. The creator mode is fantastic if you are posting regularly because it's going to showcase your top 6 posts. If you have topics that you talk about, you can include up to 5 hashtags. That's helpful as far as just letting people know when they hit your profile what you talk about. You also have the ability to do a quick introduction via video for your cover section, and it gives this really cool effect in your profile picture for like 3 seconds, like you're moving. There are some benefits to it if you've already got traffic to your page. But to your question, as far as is it going to drive additional people to your page that typically wouldn't see it? I do believe that it's in the works for that. I know that we had the LinkedIn team on here about a couple months ago talking with us about the creator mode and allowed me to ask a lot of questions. And one of the things that I'd asked about was the hashtags and would they drive additional traffic like you would typically think they would in a post. As of right now, they're not optimized to do that. But the key takeaway for me was it was worded in a way that was like, as of right now. So I do think that that's going to be something that the engineers are probably going to be putting in place at some point. So I would go ahead and take advantage of that. The other thing that they said was that when you do change it to creator mode, it does signal the team that you are someone that, that you are someone that wants to have your thought leadership, your activity shown to a much broader audience than just your connections. So that being said, I do think that they probably do have something in the algorithm that is going to push your content out a little bit further. Although they weren't giving us a lot of technical guidance on that. But the fact that it does send the signal to LinkedIn that you do want that and they are looking for that, I would say that if you're wanting to do more thought leadership versus connecting, that would be the way to go. For anyone that is wanting to grow their connections and find jobs and hasn't done a lot of activity. We have seen people switch to creator mode that didn't understand. It can also be a disadvantage for you. So if you don't have a lot of connections yet, you're not actively creating content. Unfortunately, what it's going to do, it's going to put your activity section above your about section. And so you may lose your audience before you get them because the highlights that you've put in your about section are going to be past an activity section that may not be to your benefit. The other thing that it will do when you're in creator mode is it automatically says follow instead of connect at the top of your profile. So if you're trying to connect with recruiters and other people to grow your audience, if you don't have a lot of connections yet, you're making it a lot harder for people to connect with you. They may just click follow instead, and that may not work to your advantage. So unless you're already actively using LinkedIn for activity or plan to, or already have a lot of connections, then I would consider waiting before you start creator mode. And those that have creator mode, hopefully that helped as well. Thanks. I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Christy. And Hardik, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you so much.
With that, we're going to move on to our next speaker, Salim. Thank you so much for being here. And what questions do you have?
Hi, hey everyone, this is Salim. It's always a pleasure to be with such a panel of mods. Briefly about me, this is Salim. I always seek to add value. So for LinkedIn, so briefly about my background, I'm a deep learning scientist at NVIDIA. I also lead a few data science teams here in the Bay Area. I'm based in San Francisco and in India as well, in Pune and Bangalore. So for LinkedIn, I can share some about my experience in LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn can be great for job seeking, building networks, publicizing events, and so forth. Maybe I can just talk about the job seeking. So I think one point that really helped me back when I was using LinkedIn is the search. Actually, how you search for your jobs in LinkedIn really like it can save a lot of time. And I feel like this point not a lot of time is mentioned. And what I mean by that, so for instance, if you're looking for a machine learning job, you're gonna find a lot of companies that they just post and post and post, and then you get to a point you're like, you know what, I'm not interested in this company. So you can put a search like that. So do like machine learning and Google and maybe like not Amazon. So that would actually filter out the companies that you don't want. So I think that helped me save time on focusing on the companies that I want. So actually searching is a big factor, and what I can also add is there is that easy apply on LinkedIn, and of course I don't highly recommend that easy apply, but to even apply for jobs on Amazon, sometimes you can do that, but I find it's very useful if you actually find the job in LinkedIn, and then go back to the company's website and actually apply there. From the jobs that I did, I got a lot more responses that way than LinkedIn. And it's always super helpful to even follow up with the recruiter on LinkedIn. Let's say you've applied today, just few days, or even the same day if you want, just follow up with the recruiter. If you are like even a senior or something, or even if you're not a senior, just follow up with the head of, for example, like, so all I do is AI, right? So I would follow up even with I'm like, hey, I just applied for your position. I'm super interested. I think I'm a great fit because of this. This shows that you're not only just applying, but you're targeting that specific job. I wouldn't add a lot more. I think the mods did an amazing job. Everyone sharing different things. Like how they say knowledge is power, but knowledge is power with action,
And
right?
having so
So
much fun. We're all sick right now.
your network is definitely your value, but with action. So connecting with others, it's good, but it's not enough. So like it's good to stay more in touch. So on a day when you want a referral, it's not like, hey, you're gonna hey, can I have a referral? No, actually we've talked, maybe you've just commented on one of my posts or something. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm familiar with you, so I would just add that. Last what I want to say is make it easy for people to find you on LinkedIn. I mean, a lot of us are foreigners, right? So we have all these last names that sometimes, like, so for example, like change it so people can easily find you. Like, for example, for me, if you just do Salim, M as in Mary, and PhD, it should be the first thing that would come up on Google, right? And you can just connect. So kind of same way. And maybe last, there is this amazing panel of mods. So connect with everyone. And for example, maybe just say, hey, we were on a room together and I just heard some of your thoughts and found that interested, and take it from there. And maybe a year, you're more than a simple connection. And yeah, and with that, I'm super happy to connect with anyone. I've reviewed hundreds and hundreds of resume. I'd be very happy to take a quick look if you're looking for a job. And with that, you all have a happy and a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Salim, for all of those points, and absolutely agree with you. Make connections, and thank you again for being here. So, with that, we have our last six speakers up on stage. The reason why we have closed hand raising is last time we went over 6 hours, and all of our mods were exhausted by the end of it. So, we decided to limit the room to 1 or 2 hours today, and we've crossed that mark as well. But we will conduct more such rooms. So continue taking notes, and thank you for patiently listening in, whoever's in the audience, and for all the mods for being here as well. Um, with that, we're going to move on to Devraj. Welcome, and what questions do you have for the panel? Devraj, are you here? All right. We're going to circle back to him. Shalaka, are you here?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Shalaka, and I have two questions. So the first one is in LinkedIn, it gets notified that you have appeared in like 20 searches this week or like 10 searches, and these companies or firms that search you are actually good ones. But I don't actually know how to count that. How to use that information? Is there any way that I can use that information? And the second one is pretty particular. So I'm a law student, and do legal firms, when we approach them, should I approach only the legal firm page, or is it okay if I approach both the legal firm page as well as the partners of the firm or the company? So yeah, that's it. Thank you, I'm done.
All right, Shalaka, I can take your second question, but Ramato, do you want to go ahead and take the first question?
Yeah, I was gonna say I could take the first question. Perfect. So to your point or question about the search appearances, so for anyone that wants to know what she's talking about, if you go on your LinkedIn page, and it says your dashboard under your profile photo, there is three columns. It says who's viewed your profile, post view, and search appearances. So if you click on the search appearances, You see where your searchers work. You see how many in the week, how many times your profile's been searched. Then it tells you where your searchers work, what your searchers do. And then I believe only if you have LinkedIn Premium, you can see keywords your searchers used. So this is huge for job seekers or anyone that is a business owner, because you want to know how you're showing up in the search fields. Someone is looking for, a LinkedIn coach, and they use that search. Do you come up? Do you come up on the first page? All that information is what you want to know. So you want to track how high your search is, but then you also want to search for what your searchers do. If you want to know, is it someone, if it's a recruiter, is it a hiring manager, is it a founder? So that type of stuff is really great. So if you're a business owner or someone that has a business, it allows you to get insight into your target consumer or what your profile is attracting. If you are a job seeker, it lets you know if your profile is attracting hiring managers, recruiters, etc. Lastly, the keywords your searchers used, that is really amazing. If you are a job seeker, it shows if you're, let's say you're looking for a marketing job, a product marketing job, and you're looking at the keywords your searchers use, and it says like lead gen, and it says like brand manager, and it says like new business development. That's not what, that might not be what you want your searchers to use to find you. So you need to refine and update your profile so that the keywords match what you're looking for. So it basically helps you determine if your profile is a match for your target audience or it's a mismatch. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It's the way that you tweak that is by using different keywords in your profile, but also the titles that you have on your profile are key to update that. So if you're trying to refine and update, start, modifying the keywords you use, modifying the titles that you have for your jobs, your current job, and the other titles. And then lastly, the filters, which a lot of people forget, that really helps with getting found in different search results too. I'm Ramatu and I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Ramatu. I hope that answered the part one of your question, Sharaka. And I'm going to move on to the second part, which is if you should reach out to partners and associates on LinkedIn after you apply for a job, correct?
Yeah.
So, one thing I would definitely be very careful of is that the way you approach them. So, for example, if you have applied for the job already and you have never spoken to them, please don't reach out to them saying that I've applied for this job and I would love to um, see where my application is or anything like that. One, because you're simply reaching out to them um, because you want a job and not because you actually want to network or connect with them, which sends out a very wrong message um, as a law student. Second, um, they usually do not entertain such messages that give me a job or give me an internship. I would rather follow a different method. I would, if you come across a particular position that you really want to apply for, first go ahead, find someone who works in that firm and do an informational interview with them. Talk to them, talk about the company's culture, talk about what exactly are they looking for in that job position. If you can ask them that, I've recently seen a lot of job openings at your firm, and I just wanted to understand what the culture is like and what kind of responsibilities do you expect when it comes to such roles. And I would just love to know more about how you have handled it since you've been working at this firm. Get to know them, network with them. When you're applying, in your cover letter, you can mention that I spoke to so and so in an informational interview I'd conducted, and I received so much insight. Um, and I've gotten to know so and so about the firm through talking to this particular person, and I'm applying for this job. So, and so on and so forth. What that does is that actually, when the recruiter will read your cover letter, your application will automatically get bumped up, and they will actually go and ask that person as well that do you know this one particular law student? She's applied and she's written that she's spoken to you. And because you would have had a good informational interview with that particular person, they will remember, oh yes, she had reached out to me and we did speak about a lot of things. So that actually increases your chances of a job rather than going the other way around, wherein you're actually just reaching out to them after you've applied, asking, please help me get this job or give me a referral for this job. So I hope that answers part two of your question.
Yeah, it does. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you so much for being here. And with that, we're going to move on to our next speaker, Mahima. Mahima, are you here? All right, we can circle back to her, but let's circle back to our previous speakers who were missed out. Himangi, are you here? All right, Syed, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Actually,
perfect. Go ahead with your
and
questions.
thanks for the opportunity. And I'm actually in LinkedIn from around 2012, and I have been so much active from couple of years, and the growth reach is somewhat good when I stick to my niche. And my question, I have three questions. One is uh, like there are multiple, tons of opportunities which are displayed on LinkedIn, but when you apply for the job, we don't get any response from them. And even sometimes the HR actually proceeds with the interview, but then later on they find out that we are not actually from their place. Like for example, I had gone.
You see, there's segments of society that, and like if I call myself a disabled, in the disabled specialty, that's really not so much what it is. However, if I say a champion, that takes it to another level. So I do like that. The problem is that I'm trying to figure out how to put, for instance, I left money on the table not knowing how to reach the top executives for the airlines when they were I was involved in the changes with emotional support animals, but it didn't go my way. And had my articles and things been seen by the right people, I think that could have had a much more profound effect many years ago before they ever had big lawsuits against them. So, really, truly, I can help from all sides, and I've been on all sides. So
Some months. So how do you suggest to grow at a bigger level on LinkedIn after sticking to our niche? That's it from my side. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Syed. Could you actually repeat your question? I think I lost the connection a bit.
Yeah, first of, my first question is, uh, even after applying for the jobs, we don't get any response. There are tons of opportunities out there displayed on LinkedIn, and sometimes HR misses out to see which location we are from. And my second question is, I have started my firm to take the people and brand online, and even the small businesses online to grow their reach and business. I'm not getting very much kind of leads on LinkedIn. It's kind of very small. How to get more leads for my business? Kind of B2B connection is a little bit small. And the last question is, my growth has been, for personal brand, my growth has been a little bit constant from couple of months, and it's been a good last month, since I'm consistent at posting content related to uh, finance and whichever niche I'm in. Uh, but to grow it to a higher level, what to do? I think you got my question. Uh, yeah, that's it.
Hey, Syed, this is Dan. I'm going to answer the first part of the question, and I'll let the other moderators answer the others. So we get asked this question a lot, and it's easy to blame the recruiter for it, but I'm going to go in a slightly different direction. So when you're applying for jobs, it's both the part of the recruiter as well as the part of the job seeker to make sure that everything works together. So if you're applying for jobs, they, at least in the United States, we have to say whether or not visa sponsorship is available. If you see that it says that visa sponsorship is not available, then you shouldn't be applying for that job because you're not going to be qualified for it. At the same token, it's up to the recruiter to then say, to then look and be diligent and say, okay, I know that this person isn't going to qualify, because I'd rather turn a job seeker down right off the bat than have them get their hopes up with an interview, like you're saying. And if they're ghosting you, which is what it sounds like, uh, then that's inexcusable in any circumstance. And I'm not going to go and assume why they may or may not do it. But uh, getting back to my point, you really want to be specific. And as a job seeker as well, if you're an international job seeker, you should be looking and going to myvisajobs.com or h1visa.com and identifying those companies that are open to visa sponsorship and have done it in the past, to give yourself the best possibility of getting it. Uh, when you're looking for jobs, it's a game of the one yes, not the multiple no's. A lot of people get bogged down when they get no after no after no, but you really have to look at it in a different light, and that is, okay, I'll take all those no's, push them to the side, as long as I get that one yes. And you're going to get that way by being specific, by being targeted, um, and making sure you're giving yourself the best opportunity to succeed in that role. My name's Dan. I'm going to turn it over to the other mods to answer the other questions.
Hi.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, thank you, Dan. I like to add a point. Actually, I was specific, and with respect to the jobs, even though the jobs are relevant to me, like for example, if I'm a software developer with all the technologies which are relevant, and within India, for example, I wasn't applying for outside India at that time as well. What I was saying is, I'm not blaming HR, but is it the LinkedIn fault that they just keep the old jobs out there, like which are 1 month and 2 months old, and it doesn't
No,
respond, or
that's
how?
not that's not LinkedIn's issue. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
so to give a little bit of background, as a recruiter, there's a utilization tool that we have called LinkedIn Recruiter, and it's up to the companies that are posting these jobs. And I've seen companies that leave jobs out 6, 7, 8 months. That's their own fault. So it's not. You really want to look at LinkedIn as the facilitator, but then each person or each company owns their own um, booth within that. So don't. I wouldn't put any blame whatsoever on the part of LinkedIn. It's really up to that company, and they should be better about these things and taking down the things that aren't applicable anymore. Um, it does it happen all the time? Plenty of errors get made, more so than I would like to see, but definitely not uh, the fault of LinkedIn.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
All right.
because it,
Syed,
yeah.
since we do have a lot of people waiting, you can definitely connect with Dan offline, and we'll move on to answering the second part of your questions. I hope that's all right. Christy, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, so I did look at your profile, and it looks like you're doing a lot of the right tactics to grow. But I know that you want to grow faster. And there's one tip that I would give you that I would recommend. I think you're actually doing something that's hurting your growth. LinkedIn suggests only posting once a day, because if you post many times a day, one, it can keep your any valuable post from growing at all. So you miss that opportunity for continued growth with second and third connections. The other thing is, people can start to unfollow if they are seeing too many of your posts in their feed in one day. So the way that it works, if they're getting their feed is just all posts from you like every hour or 3 or 4 times a day, then there is a likelihood of people ignoring those posts or not giving them the value that they probably deserve, but also unfollowing. So I would recommend just testing it out for maybe 30 days of just posting one post a day and see if that actually drives up your engagement. and also using the opportunity to, if, like, for instance, if you're in some of these clubhouse rooms and you hear some valuable tips that you want to share from some speakers, tag them. That way they'll also engage with your post so that it not just gets in front of your connections, but also in front of their connections as well. That's a great strategy too. Just make sure that sometimes people often overuse that and they'll tag people that aren't relevant. Make sure that you are tagging people that are relevant to what you're sharing. And that can help you grow as well. I hope that helps. I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you so much, Christy. And I hope that has answered your question, Syed. With
Yes.
that, all right, thank
Yes,
you.
we-
With that, we're gonna quickly move on to our last few speakers for the day. Let's see if we have Himangi back. Himangi, are you here? All right. Devraj, are you back? All right. Mahima, are you back?
Hello, hi. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, Mahima, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I believe that every recruiter from a different sector has different expectations from a profile that they're looking at. So this question is specific to recruiters who are working with think tanks and international organizations in the sector of social policy. So what would be like the specific expectations they would have from a possible potential candidate and their profile? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Would any of the mods like to take that question? Felipe, since you are a LinkedIn coach, do you want to add your perspective to this?
I am not currently doing a lot of international recruiting, so I don't know if I'd be the best person to answer her question, because I think she was asking specific to international. Is that correct?
Not really international. I was asking specifically to NGOs and think tanks working in the sector of social policy, research and analysis. So that was my question.
I would defer to somebody else on this question here, because I think somebody else might be better suited to answer.
All right. Would any of the other mods like to take that question up?
I will if we don't have anyone. I think what we've run across, Mahima, is that we don't have anyone that's an expert in that. So here's what I would tell you to do. There is still a way to figure it out. And so if you will go to the search bar in your LinkedIn profile and search keywords around what you're looking for or what your recruiters might be looking for. And when you do that search, you'll be able to choose different things like content, groups, people. I would search under the people, the connections, and see, it can be second or third degree connections, but see what other people are doing that have the job that you want. And that's for any industry. So if you can put in the keywords, I don't know if it's going to be around, the social policy or think tanks, or if there's specific organizations that you want to put in there. But if you will search different keywords, you'll be able to find other people who have already created profiles that will be optimized for recruiters in that field. And you can just take the example that they've given and then customize it to your specific strengths. And hopefully that helps. Thanks. I'm done speaking.
And this is Rama too. This is for anyone looking, a job seeker in general. There's a great, if you know the title of the roles that you are looking for, definitely utilize LinkedIn. Definitely utilize when LinkedIn posts a job. If you have LinkedIn Premium, you'll see on the right hand side it will list the skill sets that you need for that job, and those skill sets, it'll check off the skill sets that you have, and it'll tell you how strong you are a candidate of that role. I say that because if you are not a strong candidate for that role, based on that, LinkedIn is telling you that your profile doesn't match it and you won't come up in those searches. So what you want to do is make sure that the skill sets that you have that you're getting endorsed for are the skill sets that recruiters are posting in those job descriptions that they're posting on LinkedIn. The other thing I'll say to add to Christy's point is definitely looking at the titles of people that have the roles that you have. So when you search on LinkedIn, let's say you are looking to be in IT, let's just say a product marketer. Sorry, I keep saying that, a product marketing manager. And you Google that, you put that into LinkedIn. you want to see the top, that first page are people that have really strong SEO. And so their profiles are going to be really strong in terms of that title. So what you want to do is start looking at their profiles and seeing what are the commonalities that they have and what are some strengths there. The other thing I'll say are there's two resources that are really great. It's called Job Hero. So Job Hero is a website that provides resume samples of different job titles, and it will show you the skills. It'll give you a snapshot of, it'll give you the background of the job. It'll give you a snapshot of the skill sets you need, and then it'll give you different resume examples too. So that's another way for you to cater your resume, but also your LinkedIn profile to make sure that you are having everything you need for those job titles. And the last thing I'll say is JobScan is a great resource where you can put a job posting into that website, and you can put your resume into that website, and it'll show you how strong of a match your resume is to that job. So if you do that and your LinkedIn profile is similar to your resume, it'll show you the strength in that. It's important to do that because that helps with ATS, which a lot of recruiting platforms use to weed out applicants. So it helps you to cater your profile and your resume, because you would have similar content on it, to become strong to beat the ATS system, but also to beat the LinkedIn algorithm as well. So those are just some resources that I have used, and I get bombarded by recruiters every day. It really comes to like understanding your SEO on your profile and really knowing what you're targeting, and just refining it and being strategic about it too. I'm Ramatu, I'm done speaking.
And this is Amin. All the tips that Ramatu shared, JobScan, I have it in my Instagram bio link. And where I said, want to review your own resume against your dream job, use this. So it's there on my Instagram bio. You can check it out. And then another thing I wanted to just add with regards to LinkedIn and your SEO and how you show up. So outside of your endorsements, I think I shared this in Christian and Christie's LinkedIn masterclass room. When you go on your LinkedIn profile, okay, if you're using a Mac, the command will be Command F, which is for find, and you should see a little box come up. Let's say the role that you're going after is software developer. So you're going to type in software developer in that box. See how many times it comes up on your profile. This is similar to what JobScan, recruiters, investors, and customers are doing when they're searching for people using keywords on LinkedIn. So if you hit Command F for a Mac and Control F for a PC or Microsoft computer, if you bring up the little box that comes up after you hit Command F or Control F, type in whatever title it is that you're going for, not who you are now, whatever your dream role is. It should that keyword should be coming up on your account if you're claiming that you're a leader or an expert, hopefully between 15 and more times. You want to have that. But if I put software developer in a search on my LinkedIn profile and it comes up 0 times, that makes sense because I'm not. But if I say that I am, and I say that I'm an expert, and I say that I have experience, it should come up multiple times. So outside of using JobScan, you can also check your LinkedIn profile and check on your own to see how many times it comes up. And then also on your LinkedIn profile, right? If you go to the section that says open to, right under how many connections you have, if you hit more, and you see where it says save to PDF, that's what a lot of recruiters are doing. So if you hit save to PDF and you open that document once it downloads and it looks crazy, make sure you fix it, because a lot of times they're using that to gauge whether or not they should pick you as one of the candidates to do a screen. So if it's not coming up with all of your top skills and your certifications, or some of your text that you have, if it's fancy, it's going to come up as hashtags instead of the actual words or emojis. So please make sure that it looks good even when you hit save to PDF. If it doesn't look good, then please revamp your LinkedIn so that you're more clear in the way you're communicating, so that you don't mistakenly get overlooked because it's not thorough. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ami. All right, thank you so much, Mahima, and to all the mods who gave their input. With that, we have the last 3 speakers, and we have gone over a little over 3 hours. So just a quick reset before we move on to last 3 speakers. This is LinkedIn Tips and Networking under Legal Scholars Mentored. It's the green Monopoly house that you see above mine and Abhishek's head. We do a lot more rooms like this. So if you're interested, do give the club a follow. Um, and do follow all the mods as well, because all of the mods do such amazing rooms. And Christy and Amin are a part of another um, room called LinkedIn Masterclass, which is done under Christian's room, data science and analytics. I hope I got that name right. Um, and that's an amazing room to be in as well. It happens every Monday around 8 or 9 p.m. EST. So make sure you follow them to get into those rooms. With that, we're going to move on to Tanmay. Tanmay, are you here?
Yeah, hi. So I have just three quick questions. First thing is like, I don't know if this is addressed before, how to create that LinkedIn hyperlink without that alphanumeric text. That's the first question. The second question is like, when you apply on LinkedIn by that quick apply, there are some questions we have to follow, and it says like submitting this application won't affect your LinkedIn profile. I mean, is it really true, or like the recruiters really scrutinize those questions in the end? And the last question, it's like just a quick question, is that even if you're a premium member of that LinkedIn this thing, uh, why is there a limit to add the amount of people in it? I mean, I know it's. I mean, yeah, that's all. Yeah.
I'll take the first question. To create an customized LinkedIn profile link, what you're going to do is you go to LinkedIn on your desktop, okay? And where it says where it says me, excuse me, actually, yeah, where it says me, hit view profile just to make sure you're on your profile. And then the top right where it says edit public profile and URL, so you're gonna hit that and then hit the little blue pen so that you can edit it. So for instance, mine is just Amin. There are lots of Amins on LinkedIn, especially from India and other Arabic countries. So Arabic nations. So I know that my name is super popular. So luckily for me, I was able to get it a long time ago with just Amin. Let's say your name is really, really popular. You can put Amin, and then let's say you're a product manager, you can put PM. But don't put your birth date, don't put your birth year, don't put a random number. Just make it make sense and keep it short and sweet. You can also try doing it backwards where your last name is first and then your first initial, or your last name and first name. So again, you go to view profile, edit public profile and URL, and then you tap the blue pen and you change it to the name. It'll tell you if the name is taken already. I hope that answered.
I'll take the last question in terms of why there is a limit. Because let's say you're sending invitations to a lot of people and it is not customized, and the people don't know who you are. One, if your LinkedIn profile is not complete. Second, if the message is not clear, in the sense you say, "Hey, hi, hello, I would like to connect with you," most of the people. So if all the paid who have paid LinkedIn subscription, they have a limited number of users or number of connections they can have. So we are very particular on the number of people that we connect with. If your message is not clear and we say we don't know you, then there is a cap. But you can always request LinkedIn, say that, hey, what one thing you could do is the people whom you have sent a connection and who has not accepted for 6 months or let's say a year, you can remove all of them. Go to the invitation sent and you can remove them one by one, and you would be able to get some more connections. The other option is to write to LinkedIn and say, hey, I have exhausted my connection request, could you grant me more? So there's a cap, you get another 3,000, but again, if you misuse it, then you won't be able to send it again. Hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, Amin and Sajid. Tanmay, I hope that answered your questions. Um, with that, we're gonna move on to.
Yeah, the first and the third, yeah, it could answer. But what about the second one, which regarding the when I'm sorry to interject again. It was regarding the this thing when you apply in that quick, easy apply thing, and there are some questions which you have to ask for applying for a job, and there, for example, are you for example, are you fluent in Excel or something like that, and then it says like while submitting the application, it won't affect your LinkedIn profile. I mean, does it really do the recruiters like really scrutinize it, or what exactly happens to that?
That is a filter question. In case you let's say we're looking at people from a particular region, we'll say, are you from this country or this part of the world? And if you don't agree to it, it's a filter question. Let's say we have a job opening, roughly 300 400 people apply for an average, let's say it's a Java mid-level to senior positions also. So how do we screen it is based on the questions that you answer. If there are three questions and three of them is negative, most probably the recruiter might not go ahead with your profile. If at least two is positive, in sense two are answered properly, there's a chance that the recruiter will go through your profile and screen it, and if they find value in your profile, they will contact you. So that is how it works.
Thank you so much, Sajid and Tanmay. I hope that answered all of your questions. So, with that, we're going to quickly move on to our last two speakers. And thank you for waiting so patiently all this while. Uh, Subhabrata, are you here?
Yeah, Rideja,
Go
I am
ahead.
here. Thank you for organizing this club. It's such a useful topic you are discussing since long. Lot of good speaker over there, lot of good audience also is there. My questions to the only people, those who are right now in USA, related to networking. Apart from LinkedIn and Clubhouse, what are the other processes do you guys follow to maintain network with some good HR, some mid-level of manager? Thank you.
Can I answer that?
Go ahead, Sajid.
So, what is the purpose of networking is one you have to understand. If you're looking at a job, and let's say you're actively looking at a job right now, and then you're looking for networking, most probably the people whom you connect with won't be able to help you out. Networking is a long drawn process. I look at it, so I'm still connected with the people whom I started recruiting or hiring way back in 2007 from LinkedIn. So, that is a kind of long term investment that you have to have in terms of networking. What are the other options you could use? So my thing is, if I am interacting with or I connected with all the people on LinkedIn, I have built it one step at a time. I'm not a celebrity. People don't come and approach me and say, hey, let's connect. I get connected to people whom I have some conversations with, and I remember most of the conversations that I have with people. So that is one way of networking. If possible, you can take it to the next level to meet these people and connect with them, and they remember the conversations that you have. The other option is to do request for an informational interview where you are asking the possible hiring manager 10 questions, and that 8 questions would be about what the company is doing, what the role is about, what are the projects that they're working, and 2 questions or 2 answers of that would be explaining about yourself and how you might fit that particular role. So informational interview is just a prelude to an interview so that they remember, okay, let's say you have done an informational interview with me 1 or 2 months back, and then I have met you. If I remember a role that matches your profile and I say, oh, I had a great conversation with this candidate called Subrata, let me reach out to him. So that is how networking works. Just having a LinkedIn connection is not a form of networking. And always give before you ask. That is a fundamental of any networking process. There are other, you can use Twitter, you can use Facebook or any other channels, even Clubhouse. Ultimately, it is about a personal connection. If there is no personal connection, the numbers don't mean anything. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Felipe. If I could just add one thing real quick, I think what Steve was just saying was really powerful and relevant. And I think, as a recruiter, I will say that people that I see frequently engaging with me on my content, on my post, um, adding value when they comment, like asking a question that would move me to respond, or adding additional information that might add value to the post. Those are things that stand out so that when you do actually apply, I'm going to recognize your name. And if I don't recognize your name, I'm one of those people that the first thing I do after you've applied, I pull you up on LinkedIn. And if I see that we have a history of chatting, that's going to refresh my memory and put a connection there for me. That gives you a higher chance of me reaching out to you based on our interactions. So it is a way to stand out. It is a way to network. But like he said, it takes work, it takes time and patience. This is Felipe, and I'm complete.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to add Sahil's not here right now, but he took the time out last year to create a very detailed networking tracker. I actually use it. It's a Google sheet. If you go to my my Instagram profile is the very first link where I say I'm overwhelmed with networking. Here's a great tool by my friend Sahil. So you can tap on that. It's really good. It basically gives you the option to put the person's first and last name, their email, how do you know them, the strength of the connection, the type of the connection, the last time you reached out to them. And then this is also not just so that you can keep track of your connections that you're making, but specifically, if you're targeting a specific role, it'd be nice to know that, okay, reach out to them in 3 months to let them know that I'm now interviewing. Reach out in another 3 months to let them know I've gotten the job. So that even after you've gotten the job, you can still keep these relationships. And that way, when you reach out in the future, either for yourself or someone else, it's not like, oh, this person only reaches out when they want something. So it's a super, super great tool. Sahil Maharahi created it. And I linked it on my Instagram profile just because he's not in the room. If he was in the room, I'd tell you to go to his. But yes, so check it out. It's the first link in my link tree. That's by Sahil.
Thanks. I mean, you are my friend. We both stay in California. We can get in touch with them.
Yes,
Thanks
I met
to,
you the other day. Nice to meet you, friend, again.
yeah, thanks, Amit. Philip and Sajid Kumar. Sajid Kumar, sir, I have a questions that you have said that informational interview. So before I get an informational interview, I need to take an appointment of the HR. So my question is that how to make this appointment, and what are the other process like I can get in touch with this for that informational interview from HR point of view or from a middle management, so can they can on behalf of them they can refer me. Thank you.
We are all professionals here. No need to call me sir. The Subrata. So there are different strategies that you could use. You could either call up this person if you know his number or can get it from his board number. One thing that we all never get is written mails. Why don't you write a letter? If you know the address or can find that address. Now the difficulty is because you're all from home. But if it is an office and you have the office address and you know this person is in this particular office, if you write a detailed mail, don't you think this person will remember you and revert back? So request, how you request, even on LinkedIn. The messaging is key. If person has to know, if you just we have told this, I mean, and a lot of the Philippe and all these people who are experts in LinkedIn have always told us, when you send a mail, in-mail or a request, if the message is not clear, crisp, and to the point, if you say, "Hey, hi Sajid," there are so many people who say hi Sajid, but what is your message? Do I have time to go through and say hi Subrata and then start the conversation, or is your message in the first go very clear why you want to connect with me? If the message is clear, I'm clear, 99% of the people would accept it. I have a very high invitation acceptance rate, which I've perfected over the years of close to 14 years on LinkedIn, but that has been my personal experience. But you do it by trial and error, see what works. So it is called, if you're doing marketing, there is a system called A/B testing. So you have to test what works for you. You send a couple of mails in mails or invitations in a particular format. If it works, use that, customize it, make it